It's Tuesday, September 23rd. Today, a lawsuit is filed against a former Assembly of First Nations national chief. The allegations being made about Phil Fontaine. Left behind, the group struggling with the new transit system and the changes one city councillor wants made immediately. Controversial medical claims made by the White House, reaction from healthcare professionals and families who have children living with autism. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning, Manitoba. Thank you so much for joining us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Ainsley McPhail is live with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. They have Hansel and Gretel coming up real soon. It's going to be a fantastic show. It's the first of its kind here in Manitoba, so we're going to find out a little bit more about that. Also, the first time the newly minted artistic director is taking over the reins, so we're going to find out a little bit more on how his vision is being sort of portrayed in this production. So we're going to find out about that throughout the morning. And then the weather last night was fantastic.
Ooh, was it ever?
Beautiful day.
Yeah, well, wait for it, because we're just going to keep doing this again and again and again every day this week. Let's talk about it. All right, so 13 degrees is where we begin right now, which is, again, well above seasonal. 4 degrees and normal low. We've got winds that are 13 clicks out of the west this morning. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 94%. Dark once again, obviously, but that sun will be rising at about 7:16. So it's rising 1 minute later than yesterday, setting 1 minute sooner, but it could be a degree warmer. So we're in for beautiful conditions today. Once again, not much to show you here on the satellite image. As we continue on throughout the rest of the week, it really looks like it's going to remain clear, at least across southern Manitoba. Northern Manitoba might begin to see a little bit of precipitation, not necessarily today. Today, it'll be clear for pretty much everybody. But once we're starting to look later on, here's early Wednesday morning, and you're just beginning to see the clouds moving through, but there will be some precipitation tucked into that. So later in the day Wednesday, parts of northern Manitoba will likely get a round of precipitation. Not here in the south, though. Remaining very clear, very sunny, very warm. These above seasonal temperatures, they're going to be lasting all throughout this week. Headed up into those mid-20s today, and then dropping off. We'll drop to about 18 degrees, but a reminder that around 16 is normal for this time of year, only to see the mercury kind of bump right back up again with some mid-20s as we're looking to continue into the start of next week.
Thank you, Terry. CTV News has learned that former Assembly of First Nations National Chief Phil Fontaine has been accused of sexually assaulting a student in the 70s. Fontaine is named in a lawsuit filed in Manitoba in May as the co-defendant and perpetrator. He is alleged to have sexually assaulted the plaintiff, who was a child and former student, during a school trip that he arranged and led along with the Saugeen First Nation Education Authority. The authority denies Fontaine was ever an employee and is calling for the suit to be dismissed. CTV News reached out to Fontaine for comment and did not hear back by deadline. He has not yet filed a statement of defense, and none of the claims has been tested in court. The province's police watchdog is looking for witnesses after two suspects on the run rolled their vehicle in West St. Paul. According to a report by Winnipeg Police, it all started around 3:30 a.m. Friday when someone reported two people breaking into a construction trailer on Ken Oblick Drive. Air One tracked the vehicle to the Perimeter Highway and Pipeline Road, where officers unsuccessfully tried to bring it to a stop with a stop stick. A short time later, the suspect vehicle failed to make a turn on a gravel road near Holmes Road and Ponaida, where it rolled into the ditch. One suspect was brought to hospital and later released, but the other received fractures to their spine. Anyone who saw what happened or has video footage is asked to contact the Independent Investigation Unit. A Winnipeg City Councillor says the new transit network is leaving some riders behind. The new system has fewer stops in order to speed up bus trips. But as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, Sherry Rollins says seniors and people with mobility issues are struggling.
Walter's daily walk to his bus stop is longer than it used to be.
It used to be less than 5 minutes. Now it's closer to 10, 15.
Those extra steps aren't ideal.
I can still do it. My knees are deteriorating.
It's a similar story for some riders who say the new bus network that started in late June is problematic for them.
I do not know what plans they have or what why they changed it, but it totally...
The previous system had 5,200 bus stops. The new one has 1,200 fewer. The idea, the bus stops less to speed up commute times. But City Councillor Sherry Rowland says this is leaving people behind.
People are concerned. People are worried, and they're coming forward in droves.
Rowland says some seniors, people living with disabilities, and those going to medical appointments are having to walk greater distances or have no service at certain times. She wants immediate changes, including restoring nighttime service to the north and west ends and downtown, with a focus on making the system more accessible.
There is a deepening inequality that has been introduced to this city through the primary transit network.
One of the organizations raising concerns is the Cerebral Palsy Association of Manitoba.
It's the difference between taking the bus and not taking the bus. It's the difference between having a good experience and a horrible experience.
Winnipeg Transit says removing stops makes buses run better, but it knows the span of service isn't cutting it for riders on some routes in some areas. So it says they are listening to feedback and have already made some changes with more to come. And they say they're also hearing a lot of positive stories about how the system is running smoothly.
I find it's very efficient. I think it's convenient that they lessen the stops.
I really like it. Yeah, the fewer stops makes it better, and you get to the place faster.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Prime Minister Mark Carney is in New York this morning at the United Nations for the 80th General Assembly. He will be attending the opening of the high-level general debate before co-hosting an event with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Yesterday, Carney pitched Canada as a reliable trading partner that, quote, has what the world wants. Addressing the Council on Foreign Relations, Carney said Canada has the resources, talent, and ingenuity the world needs in a time of political and economic turbulence. He also addressed Canada's move to officially recognize Palestinian statehood.
Recognizing the state of Palestine, led by the Palestinian Authority, empowers those who seek peaceful coexistence and the end of Hamas. It doesn't legitimize terrorism. And in no way does it compromise Canada's steadfast support for the State of Israel.
3 G7 nations, Canada, Britain, and France, are recognizing the state of Palestine to apply political pressure to end the war in Gaza. More than 145 nations now recognize Palestine in a move that will strain relations with Israel. While Prime Minister Carney spoke, Israel's representative at the UN left his seat empty. This will also strain Canada's relations with the U.S., the only permanent member of the UN Security Council that has not recognized Palestine. Main Street Project is showing off its newly renovated housing facility. The homeless shelter and health center is giving its home on Martha Street a total makeover. It's phase 1 of an $18 million project, which will also expand the facility. We got a look inside its newly renovated rooms, a brand new common area. The project's executive director says it provides privacy and dignity to those transitioning from homelessness and addictions.
Having a really great common area like this where people can watch TV, go on computers, a really great dining area that'll be set up over there, a kitchen to do cooking classes and baking in, like really gives people a lot to really enhance their lives and also make big changes in their lives, and we want to help them be a part of that change.
The project is continuing to provide support while the renovations take place. A majority of funding came from the federal government through energy retrofit grants. The building will be 45% more energy efficient. The renovation is expected to be fully complete in about 15 months. Instagram is rolling out a new AI tool targeting teens in Canada who registered with adult accounts. The social media giant says the technology will identify accounts it suspects belong to teens, even if they list an adult birthday. The AI model will be trained on information, including the dates accounts were created and interactions they had with other profiles and content. If Instagram suspects a teen of trying to deceive the company with an adult birthday, the platform will place the user in a teen account. Here's a look at what's happening now at Confusion Corner. It looks like things are starting off pretty well over here to start off this Tuesday morning. No issues to tell you about at this point. If you see anything out there, text them to us, please, at 10400. Let's now go to Ainsley McPhail, who's live with the RWB this morning. Good morning, Ainsley.
Good morning, Rochelle. We're going to show you the Trail of Treats. That's right. live sweets and treats from the RWB. Hansel and Gretel is what has inspired this partnership with 5 local bakeries. And I will say, we've got some beautiful ones here today, and even more in the back too, so stay tuned for that. So they've partnered with these bakeries, and then they've curated ones that are themed towards this magical event. It starts off more eerie, black and white, and then there's an explosion of color. We're going to be chatting with both Hansel and Gretel throughout the morning. We're also going to be chatting with our new artistic director, Christopher Stowell. So stay with us as we look at the outfits, and we take a bite of the gingerbread ice cream. Did I say ice cream? Oh, I don't know. You'll check it out.
Okay, a sweet treat for you this early morning. All right, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. It looks like a little breezy, but how's it feeling out there?
That's just it. A little bit breezy, but otherwise beautiful. I mean, it will be better when the sun is up, but that's just part of this time of year, right? With the sun rising a little bit later and later, but it's still not making a difference to those temperatures, not this week anyway. It's going to be feeling more like summer than the first full week of fall. 12 degrees, it won't be the full week because it only arrived yesterday afternoon. Anyway, back to the temps. It's 12 degrees right now with a bit of a breeze out of the northwest. It's a 12K wind right now. That'll remain on the lighter side throughout the day today. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 99%. And again, clear conditions and the skinniest sliver of a moon, so it does seem quite dark out here this morning. You could probably do a little bit of stargazing. We might get a little bit of fog developing in the early morning hours, but then mainly sunny conditions throughout the day, throughout the province, and well above seasonal temperatures to go along with that. Yesterday we got up to 26 degrees. We could do that again this afternoon, so well above the seasonal 16, about 10 degrees above what you would expect for this time of year. And tomorrow still in the mid-20s. It will dip slightly later this week, but still remaining above seasonal even as we're looking ahead to the weekend. Taking a break, but we'll be back with more CTV Morning Live.
Weather is brought to you by ABC Fire and Safety, your CO2 refill store.
Good morning. The Vice President of the Manitoba Métis Federation is speaking out against a plan to rename a Winnipeg park. A motion before City Hall proposes Cartier Avenue Park be renamed after James Peeble, a Nobel Prize-winning astrophysicist born in Manitoba. However, the move is being panned by Andrew Cartier, the great-grandson of André Cartier, who the park is currently named after. He says the park is located on land his family once owned before they were forcibly relocated. Cartier says the proposed renaming was done without consultation and does a disservice to his family's history. The motion will go before City Council on Thursday. Pushback for medical claims emerging from the White House. President Donald Trump saying pregnant women should not take acetaminophen, the active ingredient in Tylenol, and linking it to autism in children, despite doctors saying the medicine is safe. CTV's Mike Le Couture reports.
I want to say it like it is. Don't take Tylenol. Don't take it.
Flanked by his health secretary, U.S. President Donald Trump took aim at one of the best-known pain relievers. Trump's targeting Tylenol for pregnant women, promoting unproven claims that using the drug during pregnancy could cause autism.
So, since 2000, autism rates have surged by much more than 400%.
Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. pushed back against the question, wondering if that rise was because of a better understanding and better ability to diagnose the disorder.
If it were better recognition or diagnosis, you'd see it in 70-year-old men. I've never seen this happening in people my age.
It comes a month after a review of previous data which found evidence of a link between acetaminophen use during pregnancy and neurodevelopmental disorders. The European Medicines Agency has looked at the evidence and decided the findings are inconclusive.
It's turning out that we understood a lot more than a lot of people who studied it, we think. And I say we think because I don't think they were really letting the public know what they knew.
Kenvue, the makers of Tylenol, said in a statement, "We believe independent, sound science clearly shows that taking acetaminophen does not cause autism. We strongly disagree with any suggestion otherwise and are deeply concerned with the health risk this poses for expecting mothers." In a statement, Health Canada says acetaminophen is safe and effective for relieving pain and reducing fever when used as recommended, including during pregnancy and while breastfeeding.
A Manitoba government minister's constituency office has been targeted by vandals. White placards now cover the front-facing windows of Families Minister Nahanni Fontaine's office on North Main Street. Tape can also be seen covering up long cracks in the glass. A spokesperson confirmed police have been contacted and says the office is still open. It comes less than 2 weeks after Fontaine shared and then deleted a controversial social media post regarding the killing of American conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The post sparked outrage and prompted the premier to ask her to apologize. A super typhoon pummeled parts of the Philippines Monday, forcing evacuations and triggering storm alerts across Southeast Asia. Footage released by local officials shows strong winds and torrential rain causing large waves to form along the coast of the Philippines. Authorities suspended work and school across Manila, with residents in coastal communities forced to evacuate. Heavy rainfall in France left an ambulance stuck in the city of Toulon. Thousands of homes were also left without power in the region. And in northern Italy, firefighters conducted search and rescues as torrential rain triggered widespread flooding and landslides in the northern city of Como. And take a look at this. Lightning striking a communications tower in Barcelona, while firefighters about an hour away searched for a car swept away in the heavy flooding, with local officials later saying 2 people had died. The future of Canada's wildlife is at risk, according to a stark new report from the World Wildlife Fund. The Living Planet report found more than half of the species studied are decreasing in abundance. The biggest declines were seen in grassland habitats, where wildlife populations declined by 62% on average since 1970. In forests, mammal populations declined by 42% over the last 5 decades, and throughout the country, animals on the list of threatened species saw populations decline by an average of 43%. Listen to the people who deal directly with Manitoba seniors. That's the message from a coalition of seniors groups to the province's new Seniors Advocate Office. The coalition says the Advocate Office is long overdue, but the office must meet the needs of Manitoba seniors. Slated to open November 1st, the Seniors Advocate Office will advise the provincial government about policies and programs related to seniors' home care and health care. The coalition says the office needs to listen to the groups caring for seniors on the ground.
We have done a lot of work in the past years to identify the needs of seniors, the wants of seniors, and how best to provide some of the services based on what they're telling us.
The coalition wants the creation of an advisory board to ensure the office makes decisions based on data. For example, a study by the British Columbia Seniors Advocate found disparities between nonprofit and for-profit long-term facilities. The BC Advocate is presenting its findings here in Manitoba in October. Some road closures to remind you about this morning. Starting today, 2 lanes will be closed on northbound Century Street between Ellis and Saskatchewan Avenue, so expect delays in that area. The eastbound curb lane is closed on Ness from Barrie to King Edward. And beginning at 9 this morning, the southbound curb lane on Dakota is closing from Nova Vista to Paddington. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Curtis Carpets, Manitoba's flooring experts.
We're looking now through the Bath Fitter Live Eye. Bath Fitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. A dark morning, but a clear morning. We'll see plenty of sunshine once it, of course, rises. That'll be happening at 7:16, and then it'll start to throw us some heat. Although, even with the lack of sun overnight, our temperatures didn't drop off. And typically, it takes cloud cover to keep the kind of warmth around that we experience through the overnight hours, with some places waking up in these mid-teens, 16 degrees right now in Portage and in the Morden Winkler area. But the fact is, there are very few clouds out there. It is a clear start to your day. We're starting out at 12 degrees, just for a reference point, around 4. That would be a seasonal low temperature, and all of us well above that. And then, of course, there's northern Manitoba also well above that, with some mid-teens right up into the northeast. Slightly cooler over in the northwest this morning, 9 degrees in the Lynn Lake, Flin Flon areas. There's the satellite image. Really nothing to show you here because it is so incredibly clear, which means it'll be incredibly sunny through the day today. Maybe a few clouds building up, but 15 degrees expected as we send kids off to school. And by the time they're taking their lunch, they'll be doing that outdoors. At 21 degrees, it'll be very pleasant, getting to a warm high of 26 by later on this afternoon. So those values about 10 degrees above what you would expect this time of year, with 16 being a normal daytime high. And we're looking at mid-20s for the next couple of days. Dropping into those high teens, but only for a day before the mercury bounces right back up in the low to mid-20s as we're looking through the rest of the week and into the coming weekend. First full day of fall, and what a stunning photo to share with you. Taken in the St. Norbert area. Thanks to Roy for the picture. And keep them coming, please, to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand, a dream vacation, some home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is sunrise. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word sunrise with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. A Manitoba-born soccer star is set to hang up her cleats.
Looking towards that back post is flicked on, and Natter off the crossbar. The ball is Scott.
Desiree Scott announcing Monday morning that she will retire from professional soccer at the end of Ottawa Rapid FC's inaugural season. Scott also played for Canada's women's national team, winning a gold Olympic medal and 2 bronze. Some bold new changes are on the way for the CFL, set to take place over the next 2 seasons. CTV's Raheem Ladhani breaks down the new rules and the fan reaction.
And now looks to throw over the top, in the air, on the money. Canadian football has always defined itself by bigger fields, deeper end zones, and unique rules. But starting next season, the league is tweaking that formula and will look a lot more like the NFL.
Absolutely no percentage of these changes were made because of any type of comparison to the NFL.
While the commissioner insists he loves the Canadian game, 2 of the biggest changes that will come in 2027 align with American football. The goalposts, which currently sit at the front of the end zone, will be pushed back, and the field will be shortened down to 100 yards. The end zones are also shrinking, but will remain 5 yards deeper than the NFL.
The goal is to have the best game possible, right? And I believe we have that right now. And I believe we also are improving on that. So regardless of what it might look like, you know, to others, is part and parcel, right, to you know, how people take it.
Other changes that are meant to encourage offense will start next season. There will be a new 35-second play clock, benches on opposite sides, and a modified rouge that eliminates points for missed field goals sailing wide. Kick is up, it's clear of the hands. Oh! Missed it, but it's out the back. We're going to OT. Online, many CFL fans are expressing outrage, from describing the changes as garbage to saying it destroys what makes the league Canadian. And some say they're done watching.
It's kind of dumb that they're trying to be like everyone else, and instead of sticking to the CFL, they're trying to act like the NFL, see if they can get more money. But I think it's kind of bullcrap in my opinion.
However, others see this as a step forward.
There's going to be CFL people that are diehards. Nope, they're trying to make it an American game. They're not. They're trying to make the game actually better.
A toss-up between modernizing for the future or fumbling away tradition. Raheem Ladhani, CTV News, Toronto.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
12 degrees outside this morning with northwest winds 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 99%. We're waiting for the sun to rise, but once it does, we'll be soaking it up all day long across the entire province. Clear, sunny conditions with soaring temps that are well above what you would expect for this time of year. The satellite image doesn't really show much because there won't be much going on. We might see a few clouds here or there today, but overall mainly sunny. 26 degrees. That puts us about 10 degrees above seasonal, with 16 being a normal daytime high. We'll deal with a bit of a breeze, but really just a bit of one. A north wind at about 15 kilometers per hour, and then those winds tapering off almost altogether overnight. 11 degrees is where we'll be dropping to. You compare that to a seasonal low of 4, and again, these above seasonal temperatures, they're going to continue even in the overnight hours as well. Back up into the mid-20s for tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine once again. This time around, the winds shifting slightly out of the southwest, but still remaining on the lighter side. Middle of the week, or I guess that would be Thursday, so toward the middle to end of the week, we have a one-day dip with the temperatures where they're falling back into the high teens, but then bouncing right back up again, mid-20s or low 20s as we're continuing out the rest of the week into the first official weekend of fall, and even continuing into the start of next week. These above seasonal temperatures will stick around.
Conversations around bail reform are happening everywhere, from City Hall to Parliament Hill, and Crown attorneys here in Manitoba are demanding change. As CTV's Daniel Homerson shows you, the Crown attorneys want more notice about which matters will be in court on any given day.
Fast-paced and frenzied, that's how Crown attorneys in Manitoba describe bail court. They say they're overburdened with paperwork and they're calling for more time to prepare.
One of the main problems is that when you step in the door to court that morning, you have no idea what it is that's going to be proceeding that day.
The union representing Crown attorneys is asking the province to make rule changes so that prosecutors are given 24 hours notice before contested bail hearings go before a judge. In those hearings, prosecutors argue why an accused person should remain behind bars, while defense lawyers lay out plans for release. Crown attorney Ben Wickstrom says he and his colleagues spend a lot of time reviewing cases that never actually make it before a judge, or they're handed cases after bail court has already started for the day.
So the challenge for us is just being prepared basically for everything that's in the bail triage court at all times, which is sort of not the best way for our attention to be focused.
The union says more notice would allow them to focus on a smaller number of hearings and give them adequate time to prepare submissions.
There are many, many, many things that we need to check and ensure before we propose anything to the court, whether we are opposed or whether this bail plan is sufficient to protect the public.
The union is also asking for more help managing the workload. That includes calling on the province to assign more Crown attorneys to bail court. In a statement, Justice Minister Matt Wiebe says our government is committed to strengthening bail, which is why we introduced a 5-point bail system endorsed by the National Police Federation. I appreciate the union for sharing their recommendations on ways to improve the functioning of bail court. The union is also asking the City of Winnipeg to allocate police resources to assist in vetting bail plans.
This is about better plans being brought forward that will actually do what is intended and keep the accused out of trouble.
The Criminal Defense Lawyers Association of Manitoba says any changes to bail court procedures are unnecessary and undesirable. They say under existing legislation, bail hearings for accused people must happen at the earliest opportunity. $138,000 taken from criminals will be going instead to Manitoba Police Services. The province has announced how it will be spending cash from the Criminal Property Forfeiture Fund. $99,000 will go to the Winkler Police Service for a regional policing model study in Winkler and Morden. They'll also get $22,000 for medical equipment to start a police emergency medical support unit. In addition, the province is sending $15,000 to RCMP to hold violence threat risk assessment training in Steinbach for RCMP officers and Hanover School Division staff. RCMP are also going to receive $2,500 to help vulnerable youth and their families. The search continues for a young boy who went missing in Alberta's Crow's Nest Pass on Sunday.
We are in a valley, a river valley itself. There are 2 small rivers that are also in play. There's a large bog that we continue to search.
Dozens of search and rescue members, RCMP, and conservation officers are searching for 5-year-old Darius McDougall. RCMP say Darius was walking with his family when he got separated. He's about 4 feet tall, has brown hair, and was last seen wearing a blue-gray hoodie and sweatpants. Police say he has autism, and that may prevent him from responding to others. Police are also using helicopters, drones, and dogs to help find the missing boy. The spouse of the man behind the mass shooting in Portapique, Nova Scotia, is set to publish a memoir. The book will recount the abuse Lisa Banfield endured while in a relationship with Gabrielle Wortman. The first survivor, Life with Canada's Deadliest Mass Shooter, is due to be published in January. Wortman's rampage on April 18, 2020, started when he assaulted Banfield, his common-law wife of 19 years. Over the next 13 hours, he killed 22 people in Portapique and surrounding counties in Nova Scotia. U.S. President Donald Trump will address the UN General Assembly later today. Trump is expected to call out American allies, including Canada, for the coordinated international effort in recognizing a Palestinian state. Israel has said recognition rewards Hamas for the group's attack on October 7, 2023. Trump's press secretary, Caroline Leavitt, said today's speech will emphasize American strength. A new report shows restaurants are under pressure as consumers steer away from dining out while operational costs squeeze profits. 3 in 4 Canadians are choosing to eat out less often due to the high cost of living, according to a Restaurants Canada report. The share was even higher among those aged 18 to 34 at 81%. The organization says businesses are also trying to keep up with the growing price of food, labor, and insurance. The report suggests 41% of restaurants were either operating at a loss or breaking even as of June. Here's a look at what's happening now at Portajet Polo Park. Looks like things are moving well over here. No issues to tell you about at this point. If you see any problems out on the streets, text them to us, please, at 10400. Here's a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29, and the lowest price in the city of Winnipeg is $1.22. All this info is on GasBuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Coming up, we're live at RWB. We're going to tell you about this sweet deal and the incentive to check out Hansel and Gretel. Stay with us.
Weather is brought to you by Canadian Footwear, helping you find the perfect fit.
All right, standing out here in the dark, but it won't be long before I'd be in this very same spot and soaking up sunshine. No matter where you are in the province, it is going to be beautiful, sunny, and well above seasonal. For our first official full day of fall, yesterday the season kicked off at about 1:19 in the afternoon. So today will be the first full day, and it's going to be gorgeous. It's clear out here right now. The temperature is well above seasonal already. We're sitting at 12 degrees with a 12K wind out of the northwest. The pressure is rising. The humidity is sitting at 99%. And yes, I could see a couple of stars still when I stepped out here onto the rooftop just now. Oh, they're still up there. This skinniest sliver of a moon means that it's dark enough that you could do some stargazing, but soon it'll be bright enough to enjoy some sunshine. At 7:16, the sun officially begins to rise, but with these clear conditions, I'm already seeing a little bit of that day glow off to the east with the pretty pinks and blues on that east horizon. So sunshine expected all across the province today, and temperatures soaring up into the low to mid 20s across northern Manitoba, mid 20s here in the south as well. And it's not just for today. The rest of this week will be spent above seasonal, even with us dipping somewhat on Thursday into the high teens. We're rebounding again and staying pleasant and warm throughout the weekend. And we've got Ainsley. She's actually just down this street. Ainsley, I feel like I could shout at you and see you at the RWB.
You're only saying that, Terry, because you see all the sweets on the table. That's got to be why. So it's a quick walk for sure. We're talking about Hansel and Gretel. Quinn Cove joins us to tell us all about it and a fun little sweet incentive to kick off the shows this month, or October, I should say. Quinn, tell us about this partnership with these bakeries.
Yeah, so we've partnered with 5 different Winnipeg bakeries, and essentially if you follow the breadcrumb trail all the way through each bakery, you can scan the QR codes at each bakery and enter to win 2 tickets to Hansel and Gretel. So we have sweet sugar blooms and cakes. We have High Tea Bakery. We have Generate Cakes, Sweet Impressions, and then Fett Ice Cream and Coffee. And they've all created Hansel and Gretel goodies.
Well, I love that too, because they've curated them specifically for this show.
Yeah, they're all a unique take on Hansel and Gretel. So some have images of Hansel and Gretel, some of the actual breadcrumb elements and the gingerbread elements and all that fun stuff.
And there's an opportunity to win tickets.
Yes, yeah. So if you visit the bakeries and you purchase one of these goodies, you can scan the QR code and win 2 tickets to Hansel and Gretel this October 9th to 12th.
The show itself, so classic. You've got the new artistic director. Tell us about what people can expect.
Yeah, so Hansel and Gretel is this really, really fun show. It's really for people of all ages. Families are welcome with children. It's a childhood classic, I feel. So the story starts out with a 1920s black and white feel, and it bursts into color where you'll find the witch transforms and the kids get into the gingerbread house, and lots of exciting details for sure.
Okay, well, we're not going to spoil too much. Do you have a favorite sweet? Have you tried any of them yet?
Oh, I've tried all of them, and it's really difficult to choose. Each one has a little special something, so I don't think I could pick one.
I guess I'm going to have to be the judge of that. I'm the Wicked Witch. Oh, that's not even the right fairy tale. The point I'm trying to make is there's a witch. There's sweets. We've got more coming up at 7:27. Stay with us throughout the morning.
Looking at the early markets, the Dow Jones is trending higher. The Nasdaq and S&P index are trading flat. The loonie is slipping slightly to 72.30 cents U.S. The Hang Seng lost 185 points, and the Nikkei index jumped 447 points. Good morning. It is 6:47. We have new details regarding a rash of lawsuits filed against a number of Manitoba school divisions. CTV News first told you of the 27 civil cases filed in recent months alleging sexual and physical assault by a number of teachers, principals, and other division staff. And now we can report Phil Fontaine, former Assembly of First Nations National Chief, is named as a co-defendant in one of the cases. Fontaine served as National Chief of the Assembly of First Nations 3 times between 1997 and 2009. The suit filed in May in the Court of King's Bench alleges Fontaine sexually assaulted a high school student around 1970. Fontaine would have been in his late 20s at the time. According to the statement of claim, Fontaine was granted a position of power by the Education Authority. In this capacity, the suit alleges Fontaine arranged and led a field trip where he sexually assaulted the victim. The claim says Fontaine used his position of authority and trust to prey upon the victim, then exhibited a pattern of behavior to make her feel unsafe to report any wrongdoings. As a result, the victim says she dropped out of school and suffered PTSD, physical pain, mental anguish, addiction, and more. The suit alleges the Education Authority was negligent and failed in its duty of care to the former student. The suit seeks general, punitive, and special damages, payment for past and current medical services, as well as costs. CTV News reached out to Fontaine multiple times for comment and have not heard back. The RCMP tells CTV News there is no criminal investigation underway related to these allegations, and none of the allegations has been tested in court. It's also important to note the Education Authority has filed a statement of defense calling for the claim to be dismissed, citing the alleged perpetrator was not an employee during the incident. The province's police watchdog is looking for witnesses after 2 suspects on the run rolled their vehicle in West St. Paul. According to a report by Winnipeg Police, it all started around 3:30 a.m. Friday when someone reported 2 people breaking into a construction trailer on Ken Oblick Drive. Air One tracked the vehicle to the Perimeter Highway and Pipeline Road, where officers unsuccessfully tried to bring it to a stop with a stop stick. A short time later, the suspect vehicle failed to make a turn on a gravel road near Holmes Road and Ponaida, where it rolled into the ditch. One suspect was brought to hospital and later released, but the other received fractures to their spine. Anyone who saw what happened or has video footage is asked to contact the Independent Investigation Unit. Shock and sadness after a 15-year-old boy was fatally shot by police in a neighborhood in Montreal.
He grew up here, and to think he was shot at where he grew up is kind of crazy.
Quebec's police watchdog is investigating the fatal shooting of Nouran Rezaei on Montreal's South Shore. The shooting took place Sunday afternoon after a 911 call about a group of people who was allegedly armed in a public place. A new study has found riding a bike is associated with a 19% lower risk of dementia and a 22% lower risk of Alzheimer's disease. That's compared to taking non-active travel modes like a car, bus, or train. The study involved 480,000 participants from Great Britain. It was published in the journal JAMA Network Open. Physical activity has long been associated with lower dementia risks in multiple studies. So much so, it's been identified as one of 14 factors responsible for preventing or delaying roughly 45% of dementia cases. The summer drought on the East Coast might bring some good news to Nova Scotia vineyards. The hot, dry weather seems to have increased quality over quantity for their grapes this year, meaning the potential for some better wine on the East Coast. Nova Scotia's wine industry is worth about $245 million a year. 1,100 jobs are tied to the wine industry in that province. And some road closures to remind you about this morning. Starting today, 2 lanes will be closed on northbound Century Street between Ellis and Saskatchewan Avenue. Expect delays over there. And beginning at 9 this morning, the southbound curb lane on Dakota is closing from Nova Vista to Paddington. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us, please, at 10400.
12 degrees this morning and a beautiful, clear start to your day. It's a bit of a breeze, or there is a bit of a breeze out there with 12K winds out of the northwest, the pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 99%. Getting closer to official sunrise time, starting to see a little more of that day glow out there. No clouds to be blocking that sunshine once it rises. There's the satellite image, and there's really nothing going on around the province. It's going to be another above seasonal day with temperatures expected to be climbing into those low 20s through parts of the northeast, where I'll remind you that seasonal daytime highs would have you at about 14 degrees, maybe a 15-degree daytime high, 14, 15. Those would be average temps expected here in the northwest. And again, low 20s. I shouldn't call this mid 20s. It's low 20s, but still, it is so much warmer than you would typically expect it to be this time of year. Through the southwest, that'll be the case as well. All of us just soaking up the sunshine. Winds remaining on the lighter side, so there's not even much in the way of a breeze this morning, just enough to keep it pleasant. 26 degrees is where we're headed here in Winnipeg. There's going to be places just further to the east of us that'll experience similar temperatures. And then, yes, the fog, I'll remind you of that icon, just those lines, but that's what is expected. Just through the morning hours, that'll burn off, and clearer conditions then behind that. These mid-20 temperatures will last still for a couple of days, dropping only into the high teens for one day this week before we're bumping back up into those low or mid-20s, where we'll stay throughout the rest of the week and into the coming weekend.
Thank you, Terry. U.S. President Donald Trump is telling pregnant women not to take Tylenol and linking its active ingredient, acetaminophen, to autism in children. That's despite doctors saying the medicine is safe. CTV's Adrian Gobriel has reaction from Canadian families who have children living with autism.
When young Luca was just 3 years old, his mother, Christina Kalura, received confirmation that her little boy was on the spectrum.
My thought process automatically turned to not what he can't do, but what he can do.
The Trump administration's medical claim is taking a toll.
I'm literally shaking as I'm talking about it because it's so scary to think that we're now going to be creating a stigma against moms.
What type of stigma do you believe a mother such as yourself could now be facing?
What did you do when you were pregnant to cause, and I can't even say it, cause your child to have autism?
Kalura isn't alone.
When I was pregnant with my daughter, who is on the spectrum, I didn't take any medication at that time, so there was no Tylenol in the mix, and she's autistic.
Alina Cameron's daughter Fiona is 10 years old. Cameron is the president of the Ontario Autism Coalition. She's also an epidemiologist.
We know from these large population level studies that there's no link.
This study, released by the American Medical Association Journal, investigated use of acetaminophen during pregnancy among nearly 2.5 million children in Sweden. Analysis that didn't include siblings found marginally increased risks. Analysis that did include siblings found acetaminophen use during pregnancy was not associated with children's risk of autism, ADHD, or intellectual disability.
It is the most safe and effective pain reliever we have for pregnant women. It's also used sometimes to reduce fever, which in pregnancy can be very dangerous to the fetus.
Klura is taking the day's news in stride.
Our main focus should be on the supports and the therapies and supporting our children of all needs and abilities.
Christina Klura asked that we share this quote with Canadian families who may be struggling on this day. She says, "Autism is a journey I never expected, but I sure do love my tour guide."
It's no rumor. The world's finest Fleetwood Mac tribute band is coming to Winnipeg, and we want you to go. Rumors, Fleetwood Mac will hit the Burton Cummings Theatre stage on Saturday, October 18th, and you could be there. Your Morning Winnipeg is giving away a pair of tickets to the show. To enter, head to the contest page on our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form. Good luck. A Winnipeg video game organization is gearing up to fight for a $1 million prize. The team is heading to the States to play in the Call of Duty Warzone World Series. CTV's Harrison Shin talked with the team's captain.
No, we actually couldn't believe it. I had just woken up, I checked my phone, I saw the notification, and I thought I was dreaming.
But it was real, and Marquez's team, Lotus 8, is heading to the World Series of Call of Duty Warzone next week. He's the team captain, and if you don't know what the game is...
So Warzone is a first-person shooter battle royale. So 150 players drop into a map. A zone closes in every 4 or 5 minutes until there's only one team standing.
It could be worth $1 million if they win the competition being held in Las Vegas, Nevada this year.
We want to win. Of course. We're feeling great. We've been playing some scrims with the qualified teams, and we've been doing well in those.
Video gaming at this level is also known as esports, and competitions are growing internationally. Melanie Penner is CEO of the Manitoba Esports Association. She says organizations like Lotus 8 show how it should be done.
It's a very loving and welcoming community, and I think that the fact that you have someone from the province representing it, I think is really amazing.
But it's not been without speed bumps for Marquez. He says he was initially dropped from another rosters, but his current teammates picked him up, and together they are going for the win.
Whatever your dream is, chase your dreams. Nothing's impossible. Whether you think it's out of reach, it's not. If you put in the time, the hard work, and the dedication, it will pay off.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
It's Tuesday, September 23rd. Today, Winnipeg Transit troubles how some riders are still struggling to get around months after route changes. Plus, Carney at the UN, the Prime Minister pushes Canada as a global player while formally recognizing the state of Palestine. And CFL shakeup, shorter fields, new rules, and big changes for the game. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It is 7 o'clock on your Tuesday. Thank you so much for being with us here on Your Morning Winnipeg. Coming up at 7:52, we're going to hear from the city of Brandon. They have dozens of ash trees that they have to cut down, and it's all because of a pesky insect. So we're going to find out a little bit more about this insect, what it's doing to the trees, and why it's necessary for homeowners to be mindful of this and what they could do in their own backyards to protect their trees. So we're going to find out more about that. Right. But also, if you're going to be in the yard, it's a good day to work in your yard. It's going to be beautiful.
Oh my goodness, the amount of leaves that have been falling, but it looks so pretty, right? Of course, fall arrived yesterday afternoon, so today is the first full day of it, but it feels more like summer. This weather is gorgeous. Let's take a look. So our temperatures this morning well above seasonal. Again, we're sitting at 12 degrees to kick off your morning. Northwest winds at 12 kilometers per hour. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 99%. Still about 15 minutes away from sunrise officially at 7:16 this morning. But it is going to be very clear across the entire province. You can see the satellite image right now. There's nothing going on at all. Not mad about that. Everybody is in for a beautiful sunny day. Here's a look at the futurecast, and you'll see basically it's going to stay this way, at least for today. Northern Manitoba might start to see a little bit of a change, not necessarily through the day today or even overnight, but by tomorrow morning, you're just beginning to see some clouds, and by tomorrow afternoon, perhaps some precipitation tucked in there. So some rain will move across northern Manitoba through Wednesday and lingering into Thursday morning. Here in the south, it's actually going to remain very clear for a stretch of days, taking us right through the rest of this week and even into the coming weekend and beyond. In fact, Monday is still looking to be up in the mid-20s with lots of sunshine throughout. 16 degrees, that would be a normal daytime high, and 4 degrees a seasonal low. But you can see even with our low temperatures, we're remaining well above that. And our art today is all thanks to Skya, 4 years old. How perfect for the fall season. I love what you've done here, Skya. And thanks to Grandma for her insistence on getting Skya to send some art in. We'd love to see what you're working on, so draw, color, or paint, and send your art to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
A Winnipeg City Councillor says the new transit network is leaving some riders behind. The new system has fewer stops in order to speed up bus trips. But as CTV's Jeff Keel shows you, Sherry Rowland says seniors and people with mobility issues are struggling.
Walter's daily walk to his bus stop is longer than it used to be.
It used to be less than 5 minutes. Now it's closer to 10, 15.
Those extra steps aren't ideal.
I can still do it. My knees are deteriorating.
It's a similar story for some riders who say the new bus network that started in late June is problematic for them.
I do not know what plans they have or why they changed it, but it totally...
The previous system had 5,200 bus stops. The new one has 1,200 fewer. The idea, the bus stops less to speed up commute times. But City Councillor Sherry Rowland says this is leaving people behind.
People are concerned. People are worried, and they're coming forward in droves.
Rowland says some seniors, people living with disabilities, and those going to medical appointments are having to walk greater distances or have no service at certain times. She wants immediate changes, including restoring nighttime service to the north and west ends and downtown, with a focus on making the system more accessible.
There is a deepening inequality that has been introduced to this city through the primary transit network.
One of the organizations raising concerns is the Cerebral Palsy Association of Manitoba.
It's the difference between taking the bus and not taking the bus. It's the difference between having a good experience and a horrible experience.
Winnipeg Transit says removing stops makes buses run better, but it knows the span of service isn't cutting it for riders on some routes in some areas. So it says they are listening to feedback and have already made some changes with more to come. And they say they're also hearing a lot of positive stories about how the system is running smoothly.
I find it's very efficient. I think it's convenient that they lessen the stops.
I really like it. Yeah, the fewer stops makes it better and you get to the place faster.
Jeff Keel, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Sex assault charges against the chief of a Manitoba First Nation have been stayed. Earlier this month, Crown prosecutors in Saskatchewan entered a stay of proceedings against Donald Smoke after determining there was no reasonable likelihood of conviction. Smoke, the acting chief of Dakota Plains First Nation, was arrested and charged with 2 counts of sexual assault in February. Saskatchewan RCMP said at the time the incidents were alleged to have taken place in Kindersley, Saskatchewan in February 2024. The matter was set to proceed to a jury trial in Saskatoon before Crown prosecutors decided not to proceed. Smoke's lawyer told CTV News the allegation was, quote, meritless, malicious, and false. Prime Minister Mark Carney is in New York this morning at the United Nations for the 80th General Assembly. He will be attending the opening of the high-level general debate before co-hosting an event with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky. Yesterday, Carney pitched Canada as a reliable trading partner that, quote, has what the world wants. Addressing the Council on Foreign Relations, Carney said Canada has the resources, talent, and ingenuity the world needs in a time of political and economic turbulence. He also addressed Canada's move to officially recognize Palestinian statehood.
Recognizing the state of Palestine, led by the Palestinian Authority, empowers those who seek peaceful coexistence and the end of Hamas. It doesn't legitimize terrorism. And in no way does it compromise Canada's steadfast support for the State of Israel.
3 G7 nations, Canada, Britain, and France, are recognizing the state of Palestine to apply political pressure to end the war in Gaza. More than 145 nations now recognize Palestine in a move that will strain relations with Israel. While Prime Minister Carney spoke, Israel's representative at the UN left his seat empty. This will also strain Canada's relations with the U.S., the only permanent member of the UN Security Council that has not recognized Palestine. New video and witness accounts are raising troubling questions about the fatal police shooting of a BC teen with autism 7 months ago.
I believe that the RCMP misunderstood behaviors characteristic to autism as threatening.
15-year-old Chase de Balinhard was shot after police received a call about a person in distress with a firearm. His parents say it was an unloaded pellet gun, but because they say he functioned more like a 10-year-old, he didn't have the capacity to understand the danger police posed. Witnesses say the situation was not handled appropriately.
The cops were up there fist bumping each other and laughing and joking. It's like, holy shit, man, you just killed a kid, right?
The RCMP says it cannot comment during the investigation. Main Street Project is showing off its newly renovated housing facility. The homeless shelter and health center is giving its home on Martha Street a total makeover. It's phase 1 of an $18 million project, which will also expand the facility. We got a look inside its newly renovated rooms and brand new common area. The project's executive director says it provides privacy and dignity to those transitioning from homelessness and addictions.
Having a really great common area like this where people can watch TV, go on computers, a really great dining area that'll be set up over there, a kitchen to do cooking classes and baking in, like really gives people a lot to really enhance their lives and also make big changes in their life, and we want to help them be a part of that change.
The project is continuing to provide support while the renovations take place. A majority of funding came from the federal government through energy retrofit grants. The building will be 45% more energy efficient. The renovation is expected to be fully complete in about 15 months. Big changes are on the horizon for Canadian football.
Absolutely no percentage of these changes were made because of any type of comparison to the NFL.
Starting in 2027, the CFL will shorten its fields to 100 yards and no more goalposts in the middle of the end zone. It'll be moved to the back. One of the most distinct parts of the CFL game, the Rouge, will be modified starting next season. The league is also bringing in a 35-second play clock next year. Commissioner Stuart Johnston says the changes are aimed at improving the product and encouraging offense. The CFL Rules Committee will further evaluate during the off-season. Here's a look now what's going on along McPhillips Street. It looks like things are starting off really well over here so far. No issues to tell you about. Text them to us, though, if you see anything at 10400. Let's go back now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. Hansel and Gretel is starting soon. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Look at this. A Hansel and Gretel inspired gingerbread. And there are 5 different bakeries throughout Winnipeg that have partnered with the RWB to get everybody excited for this production that's happening October 9th through 12th with special themes. And if you scan the QR code when you follow the breadcrumbs, you could have a chance to win some tickets as well. So throughout the morning, we're chatting with the artistic director, Christopher Stowell, who's doing the lead for this for the very first time. We're also chatting about the outfits because it starts black and white and then there's an explosion of color and it's really shown through these gorgeous pieces. So whether you're heading to a bakery to enjoy and get amped up for this production or you're watching our show this morning, it's certainly going to be enjoyable.
Oh, it sounds like fun. Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now. The sun's not quite up yet, right, Terry?
Not yet, 7:16, but we're certainly getting closer now. And I do think that there's a little bit of fog that has developed out here just in the last little while. It's not looking quite as clear, but it's not necessarily clouds that I'm seeing. Anyway, that fog isn't likely to last. It'll be burning off before long because with the kind of temperatures we're expecting today, oof, it's going to be beautiful for what will be the first official full day of fall. The season technically kicked off yesterday at 1:19 in the afternoon, but now beginning to end, this is fall day one and fall week one, kind of. I mean, it'll be a partial week, but it'll be a warm week that actually makes us think more like summer. 14 degrees with a 15K wind out of the north-northwest. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 99%. And yes, clear conditions, not just here in Winnipeg or southern Manitoba, is across the entire province. Northwestern Ontario right there with us, enjoying these very clear conditions. But yes, there are a few places experiencing a little bit of fog, and I think Winnipeg might be one of them now too. So once that fog is gone, like I said, it's going to be a beautiful, bright day with soaring temperatures headed up into the low 20s across northern Manitoba, mid-20s here in the south. We're going to do it all over again tomorrow, staying well above the seasonal 16 degrees.
Weather is brought to you by Garage Masters, your complete garage specialists.
It's time now for our question of the day. We want to know what you think of the new CFL rule changes. You can text your answer along with your name to 10400. Make sure to follow the automated instructions so we could feature your response later in the show. At Your Morning Winnipeg, we're all about celebrating your amazing pets, furry, feathered, or scaly. Your Pet of the Week submissions are amazing. We want more, whether they're dogs, cats, birds, or any other pet pals. Send them our way, please. Drop your pet photos and a fun little story about them to petoftheweek@ctv.ca, and then catch us every Thursday to find out if your pet is our pet of the week on Your Morning Winnipeg. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this. Good morning. The Vice President of the Manitoba Métis Federation is speaking out against a plan to rename a Winnipeg park. A motion before City Hall proposes Carney Avenue Park be renamed after James Peeble, a Nobel Prize-winning astrophysicist born in Manitoba. However, the move is being panned by Andrew Carney, the great-grandson of André Carney, who the park is currently named after. He says the park is located on land his family once owned before they were forcibly relocated. Carney says the proposed renaming was done without consultation and does a disservice to his family's history. The motion will go before City Council on Thursday. A Manitoba government minister's constituency office has been targeted by vandals. White placards now cover the front-facing windows of Families Minister Nahanni Fontaine's office on North Main Street. Tape can also be seen covering up long cracks in the glass. A spokesperson confirmed police have been contacted and says the office is still open. It comes less than 2 weeks after Fontaine shared and then deleted a controversial social media post regarding the killing of American conservative activist Charlie Kirk. The post sparked outrage and prompted the Premier to ask her to apologize. Listen to the people who deal directly with Manitoba seniors. That's the message from a coalition of seniors groups to the province's new Seniors Advocate Office. The coalition says the Advocate Office is long overdue, but the office must meet the need of Manitoba seniors. Slated to open November 1st, the Seniors Advocate Office will advise the provincial government about policies and programs related to seniors, home care, and health care. The coalition says the office needs to listen to the groups caring for seniors on the ground.
We have done a lot of work in the past years to identify the needs of seniors, the wants of seniors, and how best to provide some of the services based on what they're telling us.
The coalition wants the creation of an advisory board to ensure the office makes decisions based on data. For example, a study by the British Columbia Seniors Advocate found disparities between non-profit and for-profit long-term facilities. The BC Advocate is presenting its findings here in Manitoba in October. Here's what's happening now at Kenaston and Sterling Lyon. We have no issues to tell you about in this part of the city. If you have any traffic tips to share with us, please text them at 10400. Now for some entertainment news. Jimmy Kimmel Live will be back on the air tonight after some spoke out against his suspension.
That campaign that you all launched, pretending that you were going to cancel Hulu, while secretly racing through 4 seasons of Only Murders in the Building. That really worked. Congratulations.
In announcing his return, Disney said it decided to suspend Kimmel last week because some of the comments he made in the wake of Charlie Kirk's murder were ill-timed and insensitive. Although Kimmel's suspension is over, his show will still be missing from many screens in the U.S. Sinclair, one of the biggest affiliate groups in the U.S., will not be airing Kimmel's show. It will air news during the time slot instead. Powerful plays written by Indigenous playwrights are the focus for a festival taking place this week. The Pimote-Owin Creators Circle is back for its 5th annual festival. Playwrights have been working on their scripts for several months. Program director Ian Ross says the stories range from comedy to horror. Free table readings happen now through Friday at 7 at the Tom Hendry Warehouse. Saturday's reading takes place at 2:30 p.m. The first trailer is out for the next Star Wars film.
Impressive.
According to the logline, the film follows legendary Mandalorian bounty hunter Din Djarin, played by Pedro Pascal, and his young apprentice, Grogu, who have been enlisted to support the fledgling New Republic. In addition to Pascal, the case includes Sigourney Weaver as a fighter pilot, Jeremy Allen White as Jabba the Hutt's son Rada, and Johnny Coyne as an Imperial warlord. It's set to hit theaters May 22nd. Your primetime lineup starts at 7 with The Voice, and catch back-to-back episodes of High Potential at 8. It's all right here tonight on CTV.
Ooh, yes, it is foggy out there. I was upstairs on the rooftop about 10 minutes ago being like, I'm not sure if that's fog that I'm seeing. But yes, according to our lookout now through the Bathfitter Live Eye, Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years, that is most definitely undeniably fog, enveloping the downtown area and perhaps blocking the sunshine momentarily. But don't worry about it. We'll be seeing plenty of that sun throughout the day today once that fog eventually burns off. Temperature-wise, we are still well above seasonal, with 4 degrees being a normal low. Many of us are in these double digits or mid-teens, 10 degrees above seasonal. We do have single digits over in Roblin right now, but you can see all through much of southern Manitoba just how mild of a start to the day it is. Right up into northern Manitoba, talk about a mild start as well. Some high single digits here in the northwest, but everybody else is into those double digits or even some mid-teens already. Condition-wise, not much going on. Fog won't read on the satellite image, but obviously that's one of the things that we're dealing with at this time. And then once that fog has burned off, we will be enjoying plenty of sunshine and continuously warming temperatures. 15 degrees as kids are settling in for class, and noontime temps, 21. We're already now above seasonal daytime highs, with 16 being normal for this time of year, but 26 is where we're headed today, about 10 degrees above seasonal, and we're going to do it again tomorrow with those mid-20 temps expected, dropping only slightly to the high teens for Thursday, but rebounding again, and plenty of sunshine expected to last throughout the week and into next week too. And the fall colors so stunningly on display out in the St. Norbert area. Thanks to Roy for the photo, and keep them coming please to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
Thank you, Terry. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand in your pocket. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is sunrise. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word sunrise with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Good luck. This isn't your typical tree farm. The farm in northern Belgium is home to about 500 different species, but its charm doesn't stop there. The trees are also pruned and sculpted into living works of art. Because of their rarity and the skill needed to make them, some of the trees are valued at more than $16,000 each. Wow. Lithium-ion batteries are used in everything from bikes to cars, and now Toronto's fire chief is calling for federal regulations to be tightened in order to get a potential fire hazard under control. CTV's Janice Golding reports.
When we think about e-bikes or e-scooters, fire safety isn't usually top of mind.
No, not at all. Mostly think about the traffic impact. That's it. Yeah, that wasn't on my radar at all. Yeah, in terms of the battery regulation, it makes sense to make it safe.
But Toronto's fire chief is sounding the alarm on these mobility devices, specifically about the way they're powered.
The issue of lithium-ion batteries is the greatest evolving public safety, public fire risk in the city of Toronto.
Chief Jim Jessup says his firefighters are running into massive blazes, like a fire on Bleecker Street this past February that killed one person and injured 19 others, caused by lithium-ion e-bike batteries.
It is the unregulated market right now that is causing us the challenges.
In fact, Toronto Fire says it saw a 591% increase in lithium-ion battery fires between 2020 and 2024. That's 11 incidents versus 76. The chief blames a lack of federal safety regulations. Unlike computer and cell phone batteries that are government regulated, mobility device batteries can enter the country unchecked.
Batteries are quite often aftermarket, they're damaged, they're overcharged, and they're not certified.
In fact, so far this year, we've seen 39 e-bike and e-scooter battery fires, up from 25 all of last year and just 3 in 2020. They're considered so dangerous that TTC has banned the mobility devices during the winter months, following an e-bike battery fire and explosion on a TTC subway train in January last year.
We've asked formally the federal government and the provincial government to work with Toronto Fire Services in the City of Toronto and sitting down and coming up with ideas on how to regulate the batteries that are being used.
Firefighters can't prevent these batteries from entering the country, but they risk their lives fighting the fires they cause, which is why Jessup stresses our government needs to act quickly to both protect citizens as well as those who serve and protect. Janice Golding, CTV News.
Coming up, we're going to learn all about RWB's Hansel and Gretel. Stay with us for more. The Royal Winnipeg Ballet's Hansel and Gretel is coming real soon. You're going to tell us about some of the beautiful costumes in the show. Good morning, Ainsley.
Rochelle, if you're like me, you're watching the ballet going, oh, and you're quietly pointing out just how beautiful all of the pieces are. Quinn Clow joins us once again to tell us all about them. Wow, they really are spectacular. Look at the one to our right. What can you tell us about the designer?
Yeah, so Kate Hawley is a Hollywood designer. She's worked on productions like Crimson Peak. She did Suicide Squad. She also did The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power. So she's done a lot in the costuming world, and we're really excited to have her costumes here with us for Hansel and Gretel.
What an impressive resume. When it comes to the pieces themselves, this here is just so stunning. What can you tell us about it?
Yeah, so as you can see, it's like very layered, and essentially the ballet itself starts in black and white, so very 1920s, like retro TV kind of thing, before it pops into color. So this costume here is one of the ones in the moon scene. So essentially there's a bunch of dancers wearing these beautiful tutus, and there's a big moon on screen, and it's very all black and white. It's very, very stunning to the eyes. Yeah.
And to our left, this is not something I would expect to see. I don't go ballet, but I'm sure it just moves so well on stage.
Yeah, the pattern really moves beautifully on stage. And again, like with that black and white kind of theme happening before everything bursts into color, it's really fun to see how the movement moves all the fabric and the detailing.
Wow. Just another really neat element to the production. When it comes to, we're going to switch gears here before we're out of time. You can enjoy some sweet treats too.
Yes. Yes, you can. At 5 participating bakeries across Winnipeg, we have Sugar Blooms, we have High Tea Bakery, Generate Cakes, Sweet Impressions, and Fete. And if you visit any of them, scan their QR code, you can win 2 tickets to Hansel and Gretel.
Awesome. I might have to eat them, but I wouldn't fit into a costume like this. So moderation. You guys are going to have to come to this production. We're chatting with the artistic director at 7:42.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. And it's going to be a beautiful day to maybe dance outside. It's so
why not?
hot.
Like, I'm telling you, any activity that you want to get up to should be taken outdoors if it is feasible, because we don't know how long weather like this will last, but certainly it is going to be absolutely gorgeous today. Now, maybe not at at this very moment, and that's because of the heavy fog. As you can see, 14 degrees right now with winds out of the north-northwest. They're 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, the humidity sitting at 99%. But all good things are worth waiting for, and I promise you today will be as well. If you liked yesterday, how beautiful was that? We got up to 26 degrees here in Winnipeg, and we'll likely do it all over again with clear conditions once that fog burns off. Satellite image isn't showing much because there's not much going on, and we won't be seeing much other than sunshine once this fog dissipates. 26 degrees is where we're headed, so very similar to where we got to yesterday, with winds out of the north at about 15 kilometers per hour. Mainly sunny conditions are expected, and then staying clear overnight as we drop only to 11 degrees, so remaining well above the seasonal low of 4. And tomorrow we do it all over again, back up into the mid-20s. 25 expected. The winds will be shifting slightly out of the southwest. We could again get some fog developing in the overnight hours, lingering into the early mornings tomorrow, or the early morning hours, pardon me. But as we continue on through the day, it just keeps getting better. Now, Thursday might be the coolest day of the week, but even that will remain above seasonal, with 16 degrees being a normal daytime high. Will likely top out at about 18 degrees, but it's not a matter of, or it's only a matter of time before we're seeing those temperatures on the rise again, low to mid-20s through the weekend and continuing into next week.
Thank you, Terry. Crown attorneys here in Manitoba are demanding changes to the way they do their jobs. They say they're overburned with paperwork, and they're calling for more time to prepare.
One of the main problems is that when you step in the door to court that morning, you have no idea what it is that's going to be proceeding that day.
The union representing Crown attorneys is asking the province to make rule changes so that prosecutors are given 24 hours notice before contested bail hearings go before a judge. Crown attorney Ben Wickstrom says he and his colleagues spend a lot of time reviewing cases that never actually make it before a judge, or they're handed cases after bail court has already started for the day. The union is also asking for more help managing the workload by assigning more Crown attorneys to bail court.
This is about better plans being brought forward that will actually do what is intended and keep the accused out of trouble.
For their part, the Criminal Defense Lawyers Association of Manitoba says any changes to bail court procedures are unnecessary and undesirable. They say under existing legislation, bail hearings for accused people must happen at the earliest opportunity. U.S. President Donald Trump is telling pregnant women not to use Tylenol, citing unproven links to autism.
They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire, and you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born and he goes and has a shot.
President Trump made the announcement alongside Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. during a White House press conference. Autism experts say the claims made by the president are not backed by science.
I would say we have strong evidence that acetaminophen is not causing autism. It's certainly not the cause of autism.
The U.S. FDA has toned down President Trump's advice in its guidance to doctors. It says doctors should consider limiting the use of Tylenol. In a statement, Health Canada says acetaminophen is safe and effective for relieving pain and reducing fever when used as recommended. Canada's first ever commercial rocket could launch today. Nord Space is once again attempting to launch its single-engine rocket from Newfoundland's south coast. It's 6 meters tall, created using 3D printed metal. In a statement, the company says this is a, quote, high probability launch day. There are 2 launch windows, one of which opened earlier this morning. Airports in Copenhagen and Oslo have reopened after closures caused by drone sightings. Denmark's prime minister this morning called the incursion a serious attack on critical infrastructure, adding she cannot rule out that they came from Russia. Main airports in Copenhagen and Oslo were both closed for about 4 hours following the drone sightings. Radar shows planes being diverted as flights were ordered not to take off or land. A Manitoba-born soccer star is set to hang up her cleats. Desiree Scott announced Monday morning that she will retire from professional soccer at the end of Ottawa Rapid FC's inaugural season. Scott also played for Canada's women's national team, winning a gold Olympic medal and 2 bronze. An 8-year-old Cape Breton girl has made a rare discovery in her own backyard.
She was off in the grass, and all of a sudden all I hear is, I found a pink grasshopper! And she came running with her hands clasped together as tight as she could hold them.
What did you name it?
Emily.
Why?
Because I like that name.
Abigail Boudreau says she was playing near her home in Lewisdale, Nova Scotia, when she spotted the pink grasshopper. Experts say the insect's unusual hue is a genetic fluke, with the genes controlling red expressing more strongly than the genes controlling black. This type of rare color can also occur in other critters like snakes and frogs, and of course blue lobsters. They're rare because the more visible they are, the easier it is for hungry predators to spot them. We have some road closures to remind you about this morning. Starting today, 2 lanes will be closed on northbound Century Street between Ellis and Saskatchewan Avenue, so expect delays there. And beginning at 9 this morning, the southbound curb lane on Dakota is closing from Nova Vista to Paddington. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us, please, at 10400. And here's a look now at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is lower at $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29, and the lowest price in the city is $1.22. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your card today.
Right now, it's foggy and 14 degrees. We're going to take a break here. We'll be back after this.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
14 degrees and that fog has really set in now. We're dealing with winds that are on the lighter side out of the north-northwest, 15 kilometers per hour. Pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 99%. You're going to want to turn the lights on if you're driving into work this morning, help you see and be seen, and probably give yourself some extra time. That fog will likely be slowing you down, likely to be worse in the outlying areas. Behind that fog, there's nothing to show you because it's going to be a very clear and sunny day today. The sun is up. It'll only be a matter of time before it eventually burns this fog off and brings beautiful conditions today. Sunny, warm, well above seasonal, moving up into the low 20s all through northern Manitoba. These values compared to what is seasonal for this time of year, 13, 14 degrees, those would be normal temperatures that you could expect. So for many of you, you're going to be almost 10 degrees above that, and plenty of sunshine expected to last throughout the day today. For northern Manitoba, conditions might begin to change for tomorrow with some precipitation moving in. Here in the south, it's actually going to remain very clear, very sunny, and well above seasonal. Mid-20 temps expected for us today, pushing up to 26 degrees possibly here in Winnipeg. That's where we got to yesterday. We kicked off fall yesterday afternoon, by the way, at about 1:19. So today is the first official full day of the season, but it's certainly not going to feel like it with more summer-like temperatures expected. Fort France is the only place that's actually showing the fog icon, but you only need to look out your window to know that it's there. Once it does burn off, though, plenty of sunshine to take its place today, and plenty of warmth is going to be felt, not just today or tomorrow. Even when we dip slightly on Thursday, we're still remaining above seasonal, but we will be rebounding back up to those really warm temps as we look ahead to the weekend.
Thank you, Terry. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's live at the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. This morning they have a brand new artistic director there and a big show as well. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. Yes, he joins me now, Christopher Stoll. It's such a pleasure to meet you. It is the first time doing an interview with you as our artistic director here at RWB. What can you tell us about yourself?
Oh, I have a lot to tell you about myself. I don't know if I have time for that. I guess I'll start by saying I'm just really excited to be part of the community here in Winnipeg. My husband and I moved here in May and have been so welcomed by everyone in Winnipeg. And it's a huge honor to be the artistic director of this legendary arts organization, which feels like sort of the center of the cultural life of Winnipeg. So delighted to be here, love this community, and really excited about Hansel and Gretel.
Okay, well, that was my next question. What can you tell us about this production? What really stands out to you?
So I think people have an image of what a production of Hansel and Gretel might be like, and I'm happy to say we're going to surprise anyone who thinks it's going to be very traditional. It's going to be satisfying for every member of the family for sure, but it has some sort of tension and contrasts in it between sort of the family life of Hansel and Gretel and their parents. They're poverty-stricken. It's about the Great Depression and hunger and food insecurity, so relevant themes of our time, but also the world of the witch is represented by vaudeville and classic Hollywood and the Rockettes, stuff like that. So we get this real duality between the poignancy of a family struggling and the vibrancy of like real bright, colorful theatricality. And I'm happy to say it all ends well, so nobody needs to be scared.
Perfect for the whole family then. When it comes to the talent, there's no shortage of that here in Manitoba. When it comes to this production, and we're going to be chatting with the leads Hansel and Gretel throughout the morning, but what stands out to you in that regard?
Well, something that I noticed I've been a fan of the RWB since I was a kid, but I saw them most recently last spring in Jekyll and Hyde in a mixed program in May. And what really stood out to me is how theatrical this company is and how the artists are so good at character development. So I feel like this is a great fit for our company. The artists are really like diving into finding all the details of the characters. The choreographer, who's a wonderful guy from New Zealand, has really allowed them to explore things themselves, develop their characters, make their own choices about how to tell the story. And this is the kind of thing that RWB is particularly brilliant at.
Thank you so much. October 9th through 12th is when you could catch it. A fan as a kid, now as the artistic director. Doesn't get better than that.
Absolutely
Back to you.
not. Thank you, Ainsley. A dramatic shift in eating habits. Canadians are cutting back on dining out. A survey by Restaurants Canada shows 75% of people are eating out less because the cost is going up. CTV's Camille Wilson reports.
These colleagues are out on a business lunch. They admit their eating habits at home are changing.
I eat out significantly less lately. A lot of it comes down to the cost. The cost of the food is going up. The cost of living is not keeping up with it.
Part of my job is meeting with folks and being in social environments, and of course ends up being we're eating out and eating in restaurants. But from a home life perspective, we try to eat in more.
Restaurants Canada food service survey shows 3 in 4 Canadians are eating out less.
When you have a family with multiple kids, it starts to really add up a lot quicker than just eating out on your own.
And not just trying to feed big families, the survey finds the cost of restaurant food plus tip has people dining in.
What we are seeing is obviously a reaction to the affordability crisis that we've been negotiating in our lives for the last couple of years, and I think all Canadians, and we know it's at the top of the priority list for Canadians.
Conde says he just came back from vacation and was eating out a lot more, but couldn't wait to come home to eat home-cooked food.
We find that when we do eat at home and we prepare our own meals, we have more control of what we can eat and the ingredients.
The survey also found a drop in alcohol consumption. Restaurants Canada would like the federal government to put a tax cut on the menu.
We have highlighted the government that there is something that we've had a test run on, is to remove the GST off of all of food for Canadians. This would have an immediate impact on their day-to-day quality of life.
Another trend, Canadians ordering delivery more and are replacing a traditional meal with snacking. Conde says it's not just the cost keeping him at home for meals. He's thinking about eating healthy.
So we have a lot more flavorful food when we eat at home, based on the fact that we understand and know what we're eating, and that's not always easily accessible in restaurants.
Camille Wilson, CTV News.
Let's do celebrating a milestone today. Happy birthday, Mary May. Lots of love from Mom, Darren, Brett, Chelsea, Ellie, Ava, and Granny and Papa from above. Happiest 18th birthday, Krista. Love from Mom, Darren, Jacob, Caitlin, Isabel, Elizabeth, Christopher, Brielle, Bud, Ella, and Darius. Happy first birthday to beautiful granddaughter, Lila. Love Grandma, Grandpa, Mommy, Daddy, Auntie Tracy, and cousins. Happy 10th birthday, Calvin. Love your family and your buddy, Connor. And a happy 60th birthday to Brent, with love from your family. To submit your milestone, visit our website, ctvnewswinnipeg.ca, and fill out the form at least 2 days in advance. It'll also enter you into our monthly contest for a chance to win a $100 gift certificate for Party Stuff.
Milestones is brought to you by Party Stuff. 3 Winnipeg locations and at partystuff.ca. Weather is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. Same-day oil and tire changes.
All right, today the first official full day of fall, and it's going to be beautiful. The highs this time of year would be about 16 degrees. Now, you can expect that we will be above that. Last year, we were a little bit above that too at 19, but it was 1875 that we hit the record of 30.6 degrees. That would have been a bit of a scorcher and probably a bit of a shock to be kicking off the fall season. Although I'm almost a little bit shocked to see these temperatures. I'm not, though. I mean, it's September, and we do typically get that beautiful week of, well above normal temperatures. And certainly this is that week. It's just timed out for the first week of fall. 14 degrees. The fog, though, this morning is on the heavier side. We're down to about 3 kilometers visibility right now, so that could affect your commute in. North-northwest winds 15 clicks, so the breeze on the lighter side today. The pressure is rising and the humidity is sitting at 99%. Once this fog burns off, and it will, we've got plenty of sunshine expected behind it. And right across the province, you can expect beautiful sunny conditions. Yesterday, we got up to a high of 26 degrees, well above seasonal, about 10 degrees above normal, in fact. And we're likely to do that all over again. Headed up to 26 here in Winnipeg. We're mid-20s throughout the south, low 20s across the north. So no matter where you are in the province, expect those above seasonal temperatures to last. And here in the south, we're going to do it all over again tomorrow. Plenty of sunshine and the mid-20 temps. Northern Manitoba's story will change a little bit. You've got some precipitation moving in for Wednesday.
Thanks, Terry. The city of Brandon is in the process of removing 71 ash trees from its downtown area. The trees are being attacked by an invasive pest. It's known as jumping tree lice. Joining us now with more on this infestation and what the city of Brandon is doing is Perry Rock. Good morning, Perry.
Good morning, Rochelle. How are you today?
I'm well. Thank you so much for joining us. Now, it's also known as the cottony ash silage. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay, so what is that exactly?
It's a small bug that feeds on the sap of the ash trees, and that leads to the leaves curling. We have discoloring, the leaves drop, and the canopy thinning, and then eventually the tree does die. Right now, there's no effective pesticide or known natural predator for CAP, making the treatment options extremely limited for us.
And based on the name, jumping tree lice, I'm assuming it jumps from tree to tree to tree and takes kind of over?
Yes.
Okay, and so where does it come from? Because it's not native to here, right?
I'm not sure exactly where it does come from. I just know that we have it here in our city, and we've observed a notable decline in the health of our ash trees within our downtown area, particularly of the black and the Manchurin ash varieties. So as we see that disease spreading, we want to try and get it under control and prevent the spread of the disease to protect the other trees that we have within the city.
Yeah, and we're looking at video or images right now where you could see a tree that's blackened. It has no foliage at all, and that's the kind of damage it does?
Yes. Yeah, it does. And trees are such a critical, important part of a community. It really indicates you've got a healthy, vibrant community when you've got healthy trees. So our urban forestry section within our department worked really hard to monitor any of the trees for disease and then get on top of any disease as quickly as we can to try and prevent the spread within the city. Most of the trees that we're dealing with are located in the downtown area on 7th, 9th, 10th, and 11th Street. And they'll be removed, and then we plan to, in 2026, to start replanting and replacing those trees.
And so for Brandon homeowners, what do you want them to know? Because obviously they have trees in their own backyards. What can they do to protect their own trees, and what should they know about this plan?
If they have trees in their own yard and they're on private property, we strongly suggest to the homeowners that they do contact a professional tree company within the city, and there are several of them that can come out and take a look at the tree and determine the health of the tree and what treatment should take place. If it's a city tree, they can contact our department, and then we will go out and do an assessment of the tree and determine what steps we need to take as well.
And then the images that you sent, it shows that the trees are actually being shredded and turned into mulch. What happens with that product? Is it usable or it's removed completely?
Once the trees are shredded, we can use the mulch. That's fine for us to be able to use it. And we try to keep as much of the trees out of our landfill site, and we mulch our trees as we remove them within the city of Brandon, and then we make it available for people in the community that are looking for mulch. We have a pile down at our Parks Department that people are welcome to stop by and pick up mulch if they're looking for it.
So that jumping tree lice, it takes off once that tree is cut down? Is that what happens?
Yes.
Okay, interesting. And then again, this is just stressing the importance of having a very, sort of different kind of canopy. You want different breeds of trees as well, which is part of the process.
Absolutely. So we're looking at the diversity of our tree population within the whole city, and we're looking at what we will replace the ash trees with down into the downtown area. So we have a diverse population of trees in the community when we do our replanting.
Okay, Perry, thanks for your time and for sharing this with us today.
All right. Thank you very much, Rochelle. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Hello there, Kara Waglin in the Sports Center newsroom with your must-see moment from Monday. And for it, we take you to Atlanta. We got the Nationals visiting the Braves, bottom 5. Ha-Seong Kim hits one in center. Jacob Young sliding, makes the catch, but the ball pops out of his glove. He reaches back with his bare hand to secure it. Great concentration by Young, who makes a circus catch for the second time in 2 games. Looks like he hurt his hand on that one as well. It is your must-see moment from Monday. And kind of Tuesday on TSN, we got dub playoffs. We got the Mercury battling the Lynx in Game 2. Minnesota with a 1-0 lead in the series. Pre-game coverage for that one gets underway at 7 Eastern, 4 Pacific. That's all for now from Sports Center. Have a great day.
The TSN Must-See Moment is brought to you by Super Blinds and Draperies, featuring Hunter Douglas products.
It's Tuesday, September 23rd. Allegations of abuse. A former National First Nations leader is named in a suit for alleged offenses dating back 50-plus years. Concerns over transit convenience. Which Winnipeg councillor is speaking out in support of those already weary of system shortcomings since June? And backyard branch lines. How a huge love for trains and a passion for preserving family history led a BC man to become a railroad mogul in miniature. Your Morning Winnipeg starts right now. Good morning. It's 8 o'clock. Thank you so much for staying with us here on Your Morning in Winnipeg. We have a lot in the next hour, including an awareness walk for fertility, for infertility, to support those families, because it costs so much money for those struggling with infertility.
And the stress and all
of that. So we're going to find out about that, as well as Main Street Project is going to join us to tell us about the raffle that's coming up this month. They're trying to raise some money. Those months are going to get cold soon enough, and they need some support and they need some food. So we're going to find out more about that. But the weather, it's the first full day of fall. It doesn't feel like it outside at all.
Okay, at this very moment, and because you're stuck in the studio, I had the opportunity to go in and out, right? And so earlier this morning, I would have been like, oh, it's just going to be perfect. But at this very moment, it has a fall feel to it. And it's because of this fog that has moved right on in. Let's take a look. Okay, so there's that fog that I'm talking about, with visibility down to about 3 kilometers right now. So there's like this kind of eeriness and this dampness to the air. It's certainly not feeling like summer, which I've been saying this week will, but as soon as this fog burns off, and it will, then we're going to get back to those summer-like conditions. 14 degrees is where we're sitting right now, with 15K winds out of the north-northwest. The pressure rising, the humidity sitting at 99%. But yeah, when you've got this kind of fog and that dampness, there's a coolness to the air right now, especially with that lack of sunshine momentarily. So you step outside and you'll probably want that extra layer on. You're not going to keep it on all day long, I promise you that, because if you remember yesterday, not that it was hard to remember, it was only a day ago, 26 degrees. That's what we got up to yesterday afternoon here in Winnipeg. We're likely to do it all over again. Not much happening right now on the satellite image, and there won't be throughout the day today. The little bit of fog, that'll burn off. Behind it, plenty of sunshine. That'll be the case right across the entire province. And not just today, overnight staying clear, although we might again see a bit of that fog developing. And tomorrow morning, plenty of sunshine, but it'll be for southern Manitoba, because tomorrow northern Manitoba begins to see starting with clouds, but then some precipitation. Rain moving across the northern half of the province, or part of the province. The clouds certainly through the northern half. Here in the south, this clear stretch that we're going to experience will come with above seasonal temperatures, and it's going to last for days. So today and tomorrow up into those mid-20s. 26 degrees today is about 10 degrees above a seasonal daytime high. 16 normal for this time of year. We'll dip slightly on Thursday, still remaining above seasonal, and then bumping right back up again, low to mid-20s. That's expected as we're looking through the weekend and even on the other side into Monday. And our art today, so perfect for the first day of fall. Skaya's grandma got on her. She said, make some art for Your Morning Winnipeg, and here it is. Thank you, Skaya. We appreciate this, and we thank you, Grandma, for your insistence that she does it. Keep the pictures coming, please. Send your art to Winnipeg Weather at ctv.ca.
CTV News has learned former Assembly of First Nations National Chief Phil Fontaine has been accused of sexual assault. A lawsuit filed in Manitoba alleges Fontaine sexually assaulted the plaintiff during a high school trip in the 1970s. The suit also alleges Fontaine arranged and led the trip with the Saugeen Education Authority. The authority denies Fontaine was ever an employee and is calling for the suit to be dismissed. Fontaine has yet to file a statement of defense, and the allegations have not been tested in court. A Winnipeg City Councillor says the new transit network is leaving some riders behind. Sherry Rowland says seniors and people with mobility issues are struggling.
There is a deepening inequality that has been introduced to this city through the primary transit network.
The previous transit configuration had 5,200 bus stops. The new one, introduced June 29th, has 1,200 fewer. The idea was to have buses stop less often to speed up commute times. But City Councillor Sherry Rowland says some seniors, people living with disabilities, and those to get to medical appointments are having to walk greater distances or have no service at certain times. She wants immediate changes, including restoring nighttime service to the north and west ends and downtown, with a focus on making the system more accessible. One of the organizations raising concerns is the Cerebral Palsy Association of Manitoba.
It's the difference between taking the bus and not taking the bus. It's the difference between having a good experience and a horrible experience.
Winnipeg Transit says removing stops makes buses run better, but it knows the span of service isn't cutting it for riders on some routes and in some areas. It says they are listening to feedback and have already made some changes, with more to come. The Canadian Food Inspection Agency has carried out a warrant at a BC ostrich farm.
We're here, our primary role is to keep the peace and to enforce the law if necessary.
The RCMP arrived at the farm with CFIA agents yesterday morning. Almost 400 ostriches have been ordered to be culled after an avian flu outbreak at the farm last year. The farm insists the birds are healthy. It's trying to convince the Supreme Court to hear their case in a last-ditch effort to save the ostriches. Police say they'll stay at the farm as long as they're needed. A man in Langford, BC has a backyard you have to see to believe.
So it's been a labor of love for the last 5 or 6 years.
With the help of his family, he's built an expansive miniature railway as a tribute to their family's history. The line goes past a recreation of the restaurant Lanny Seaton and his wife Diana would go to on dates when they were teenagers. He's also included other memorable spots from his childhood. Lanny says there's nothing like sitting out at night and listening to the trains go by. That's amazing. Here's a look at what's going on this bridge here, the St. James Bridge. Of course, things are moving quite well. No trains bothering here. If you have any other traffic tips or updates to share with us, please text them at 10400.
Traffic is brought to you by Mr. Lube Plus Tires. No appointment needed.
Let's go back now to Royal Winnipeg Ballet, where Ainsley McPhail is live this morning. Hansel and Gretel is coming soon. You're going to introduce us to some of the dancers. Good morning.
Good morning, Rochelle. It turns out ballerinas, they're just like us. They also like cake and cookies. It really is fascinating. Juliana Jenner joins us now to tell us all about your role with Hansel and Gretel. First of all, Juliana, tell us about yourself.
Hi, my name is Juliana Jenneru. I'm a Corps de Ballet member with the Royal Winnipeg Ballet. This is my 4th season with the company, and I'm really excited to get to share this production with the Winnipeg audiences. It's such a great show for everybody, for families. There's really something in it for everyone. And yeah, really.
When it comes to your role, I didn't mean to cut you off there. When it comes to your role, what excites you most?
I think I'm most excited on getting to take the audience on a journey throughout the whole ballet, because I'm pretty much on stage with Hansel the whole time, just dragging him through all these crazy situations and through this whole amazing universe that Lachlan Pryor, the choreographer, has created. So you really see everything through Hansel and Gretel's eyes with like the childlike wonder and everything like that. So it's pretty cool and pretty fun.
And from what I hear too, it's a black and white kind of motif, and then it goes through color. What does that mean to be physically a part of?
It's pretty amazing. Like, well, Hansel and Gretel, they fall asleep and then they wake up and they're inside this gingerbread house wearing these vibrant pink costumes and surrounded by all this cake and candy, and they come from like poverty essentially. So it's a huge, like, it's a crazy moment for their minds that they can't even like comprehend, you know, their first time seeing all these things and yeah, having access to food.
Yeah, and when it comes to the community element, RWB does such a great job of that. They're encouraging people to follow the breadcrumbs. Do you have a favorite? Because I know you tried it recently.
Yes, it's hard to pick a favorite, but I would say ice cream is one of my favorite sweet treats. So the Fett cinnamon bagel crunch one was my favorite. Yeah.
Oh my gosh. And yeah, it's the breadcrumbs. It's the same theme. So this is great. See? Ballerinas. They're just like us.
Well, I like
this production. I do want to tell you too.
Yes.
October 9th to 12th. Got to get that date.
Thank you, Ainsley. A University of Waterloo student is using AI to help families save money at the grocery store. CTV's Heather No-Run shows us how.
Canada's food price report predicted that the average family of four would spend about $16,000 a year on groceries in 2025. But this University of Waterloo student is hoping to put a dent in the affordability crisis.
People can't really control like their car insurance or their rent or their utilities, but grocery bills felt like something we could actually tackle.
Henrietta Van Niekerk took money earned from a pitch contest and various other programs to create Scrimp, your very own AI sous chef and shopping assistant.
From flyer to meal plan to actionable list of items that you can buy, Scrimp uses AI to sort of connect all of these things for you so that grocery shopping and affordability becomes like a really easy 3-click process to solve. $2.92 to make this meal.
She says the savings could be big.
Our users are saving anywhere from about $50 to $100 per week for families.
And it's specifically catered to the user. All it needs is the family size, store preferences, and dietary requirements.
We try and buy gluten-free and mostly dairy-free if possible.
This mom of two says it's been a game changer at the checkout.
It's pretty easy to use, user-friendly, very straightforward.
Her favorite part is the unique recipe ideas. Tonight's dinner will be chicken shawarma.
The recipes were, not causing me to go and find 11 different ingredients and things that I probably would never use again.
I may see olive oil and say, no, I have that at home.
Van Niekerk says Scrimp is proof AI can be used for good.
Ethical AI instead is showing that there can be this coming together of human ingenuity and what the AI can provide, which is also why Scrimp doesn't make their own recipes. We actually use recipes that exist on the internet.
Right now, it's only available for users in Kitchener, Waterloo, and Cambridge, but the goal is to expand throughout Canada so more people can cash in on the savings. Heather Centerin, CTV News, Waterloo.
Looking through the Bathfitter Live Eye. Bathfitter, your bath and shower experts for more than 40 years. That's what you can see outside. Visibility down to less than 3 kilometers now. If you've got places to be this morning, give yourself some extra time, turn your lights on. It'll help you both see and be seen. But yeah, that fog will be a factor until it's not, because we're going to get some sunshine today to burn off that fog, to warm us up and set us up for a gorgeous day. We're already well above seasonal, even with the less than desirable conditions this morning. Sitting at 15 degrees here in Winnipeg, but seeing similar temperatures all through the southeast. Southwestern Manitoba, just a little bit cooler yet. We've still got some single digits over in Roblin right now. Some single digits up along this northwestern border too. 7 degrees in Flin Flon, 8 in Lynn Lake. but again, well above what you would expect for this time of year. And the gains that we're going to make today will be pretty impressive. Not much to show you here on the satellite image because there's really not much going on behind that fog, and the fog doesn't register on the satellite image. It will be a very clear and sunny day today, bringing the warmth. 15 degrees expected as we send kids to school or as they're settling into class. Lunchtime temps, 21 degrees, and a very balmy and above seasonal 26 by the time they're coming home again. That's what we got to yesterday. It was a very warm day. We kicked off fall at 1:19 in the afternoon, so today is the first full day of the season, and we're headed up to 26 degrees all over again. 25 for tomorrow. Dipping slightly on Thursday, 18 degrees, but I mentioned 16 is normal for this time of year. We're bouncing right back up again into those low to mid 20s, and that's where we're going to stay through the weekend and into the start of next week. We're taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Good morning. Your morning just got a whole lot richer. We're giving away a staggering $20,000. Imagine what you could do with an extra 20 grand. A dream vacation, home renovations, paying off bills. The possibilities are endless. Today's code word is sunrise. Head to the contest page on ctvwinnipeg.ca or scan the QR code on your screen. Enter the code word sunrise with your info for your chance to win CTV Your Morning Winnipeg's $20,000 giveaway. Tune in tomorrow for another code word. Good luck. Obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA for short, is a condition where breathing repeatedly stops and starts during sleep due to blocked airways. New research suggests that rising temperatures can make it worse. ABC's Melissa Adon has more.
Climate change may be making episodes of obstructive sleep apnea, or OSA, more common and harder to treat, according to a new Nature Communications study. Hotter weather significantly increases the risk of this sleep issue by as much as 45%, and even more if you're a male or overweight. Common signs of sleep apnea are loud snoring, daytime tiredness, falling asleep during conversations, or quiet activity. If your partner repeatedly has to give you a shake to quiet your snoring, consider a visit to the doctor to get it checked out. The majority of people with OSA don't know they have it and are untreated. It's crucial to understand that OSA is more than an inconvenient sleep disturbance. It can interfere with your health, your work, and your quality of life.
The Main Street Project serves more than 1,600 meals every day. It provides emergency shelter to many and transitional housing to those facing homelessness and food insecurity. It takes money to keep these vital services going. That's why Main Street Project is raising cash with a 50-50 raffle this month. Joining us now from Main Street Project is Adrita Hassan. Good morning, Adrita.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us. Now, if someone has just moved to our city, perhaps, and they don't know what Main Street Project is exactly, what do you do there?
I would say we are a community health organization that provides various services to Winnipeggers facing homelessness. We have an emergency shelter that you may have passed by on Main Street. You may have seen our outreach vans that are on the road 24/7 every day of the year, providing various services to people living in encampments. We have transitional and permanent supportive housing facilities for people facing housing insecurity. And we have a weekly food bank that serves over 600 individuals and families every month.
Wow, and so it takes some serious cash to be able to do all that work, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does.
Okay, and so this raffle, tell us about it, because you had one earlier this year.
Yes, in January.
Okay, and you did really well, I must say, and now you're doing it again. Tell us a little bit about the raffle, the 50-50 raffle.
This is our first time doing it in the fall, and since the January one received so much support from the community, we decided to do it again, especially because the weather is about to get colder and the need for our services are always increased when cold weather approaches. So the proceeds from this raffle is exclusively for our food programs. We want to be well stocked up for the winter. So the proceeds from the raffle will supplement the donated food that we get in our food bank. It will help us provide over 1,600 meals that we serve across all our different programs every day. And it will help us keep our kitchen and food bank facilities running.
In January, when you had the 50-50 raffle, how much money did you raise?
We actually exceeded our target. We raised over $40,000. That was the total pot.
So someone got 20 grand, which is a pretty nice gift at that time of year, especially after Christmas with all their Christmas bills. We're heading into the fall. You're doing it again. What is your goal this time?
We're aiming to raise $35,000.
And for the community that you're serving, they might not realize just how much work is happening behind the scenes to help them and support them. But when they get that warm meal in their belly, you definitely see smiles on their faces, don't you?
We do, and sometimes we're running low or we don't have the things that they would prefer. So we would really like to be able to ask them what they would like to have on special days and make it happen for them.
Okay, so how do people get their hands on tickets for this raffle?
They just have to go to our website, which is www.mainstreetproject.ca, and it's right on the homepage. You click on buy tickets and it's there.
Okay, and of course, when is the final draw for that 50-50 part?
Ticket sales close on September 30th, 11:59 p.m.
Okay.
So just before midnight, and the draw is the next day, October 1st, 10 a.m.
So you just have a little bit of time left to support Main Street Project. We have a link on our website if you want more information. Thank you, Adrita.
Thank you.
All right, it's fall, officially. It arrived yesterday afternoon at 1:19, so today is the first full day of the season, and it's got a fall-like feeling to it right now. Slightly cool, slightly dampish almost, and it's all due to the fog that we're waking up to right now. Our temperatures themselves are well above seasonal, 15 degrees when 4 would be considered a normal low for this time of year, and the breeze is on the lighter side. It's 15 clicks out of the north-northwest. With the pressure rising, the humidity is right up there at 100%. And still can't see some of the buildings just a few blocks away in the downtown area, all due to that heavy fog with visibility down to about 3 kilometers, probably worse in some of the more open or outlying areas. So keep that in mind. It'll likely be affecting your drive into work this morning. Might need to give yourself a little extra time. Then eventually this fog will burn off. Sunshine expected across the entire province, and with that sunshine, soaring temperatures, low 20s up across northern Manitoba, mid-20s here in the south. We got up to 26 degrees yesterday afternoon. We're very likely to do that all over again, and even tomorrow still up into those mid-20s. We'll dip slightly for about a day Thursday with high teen temperatures expected, only to see the temperatures rebounding again. Now northern Manitoba, while we've got a stretch of sunny days here across the south, northern Manitoba, make the most of today, because for tomorrow expecting some heavier clouds and maybe some light precipitation rolling through. Our picture today perfectly depicting fall, taken in the St. Norbert area. Look at all of those stunning colors. Thanks to Roy for the photo, and keep the pictures coming please to Winnipeg weather at ctv.ca.
Good morning. 1 in 6 people around the world is dealing with infertility. Fertility treatments and in vitro are expensive, and many families can't afford to pay for it. That's why the nonprofit organization, The Gift of Love and Hope, Inc., has a campaign to help. The organization is hosting its 2nd annual fundraising walk to support families in need of fertility supports. Joining us now from The Gift of Love and Hope, Inc., is Anna Almowella. Good morning, Anna.
Good morning.
Thank you so much for joining us.
Thanks for having us again.
Now, 1 in 6, that stat is staggering. You are part of that statistic.
Yes.
Tell us about your personal journey.
Yeah, so my husband and I went through infertility for about 4 to 5 years. Sometimes you just lose track too. But it was a lot of ups and downs. It was a majority over the pandemic. So, you know, the resources were sparse because there were so many restrictions.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So I went through a lot of appointments alone, a lot of surgeries alone, a lot of treatments alone. But it is a very isolating and painful and exhausting journey. You know, I think growing up, you're programmed to think that you'll just get pregnant and you're supposed to protect yourself, but then there's a majority of the population that can't get pregnant on their own and require assistance. So my husband and I went through 4 years of tests and medications, and then in 2022, thankfully IVF did work for us on the second transfer, so we had our daughter in April of 2023.
Yeah. Congrats on that. It's so expensive, though, to go through all of that, isn't it?
I mean, IVF alone, you know, people say, oh, let's just try IVF. At least there's a solution. But one, it's a risk. It's not guaranteed that it will work for you. There's many people that do multiple cycles, and a cycle alone can cost anywhere from $10,000 to $30,000. Yeah.
And then you do that more than once sometimes, too.
Yeah, and it adds up.
Okay, so you started this organization. Tell us a little bit about what inspired you to do this and why you felt it was important.
I actually didn't start it, but Melissa Francisco is our founder. She founded in 2023. And we're a group of women who actually have all experienced infertility at some level, or currently still experiencing it, or have loved ones that are going through it. So it's very near and dear to us. I personally found the passion to kind of use my voice and start speaking my story. And I didn't really know where that was going to direct me. And then I reunited with some friends, Melissa, Crystal, and Steph, and Faith. And the five of us work endlessly behind the scenes to try to raise funds for Manitobans in order for them to be able to afford fertility treatment.
So we're almost out of time already. You have this awareness walk coming up on Sunday. You did have the first one last year. You raised $8,000 that supported a family with their fertility journey. You're having the walk again Sunday. What do you want people to know?
Yeah, so our second annual Walk for Awareness is Sunday, September 28th from 9:30 to 12 at Kildonan Park. We'll be situated at the Hawk and Owl Shelter. Registration is on our website, giftofloveandhope.ca. Adults are $25, teens are $10, and children under 12 or 12 and under are free. So we encourage everyone to wear purple to support the cause. Yes, and also, you know, come join us for the walk, stay for refreshments and snacks, and we'll have a program before and after the walk as well.
And of course, if you can't go to the walk, you can always send them some money and support them and their cause. Thank you, Anna.
Thank you so much for having us.
Your Morning Winnipeg. Coffee is brought to you by Robin's Donuts, your favorite stop.
All right, it is a foggy start to fall. 15 degrees, though, so still very mild. With winds out of the north-northwest, 15 kilometers per hour. The pressure is rising, the humidity sitting at 100%. That heavy fog isn't likely to last through the day. It'll burn off. We've got plenty of sunshine, clear conditions behind it. You can see that looking right now at the satellite image. There's really not much going on, and there won't be today. Across the entire province, plenty of sunshine is expected, and with that sunshine comes warmth well above what you would expect for this time of year. We did get up to 26 degrees yesterday. We're likely to do it all over again. With the winds out of the north at about 15 kilometers per hour. And yes, that sunshine eventually making an appearance. Clear conditions then expected overnight. We may once again see some of that fog developing in the overnight hours. 11 degrees, that's our low temperature. I'll just remind you that 4 would be a seasonal low, so we're remaining above that even in the overnight hours. Tomorrow back up into the mid-20s again. Plenty of sunshine all over. Now, the sunshine is going to last throughout the week. The mid-20 temperatures, not so much. We will see them dipping slightly on Thursday into the high teens, but 16, a normal daytime high, so we'll still remain above that. And it's only for a day before we're bouncing right back up again, low to mid-20s as we look ahead to the weekend, but it continues on into the start of next week.
Thank you, Terry. Crown attorneys here in Manitoba are demanding changes to the way they do their jobs. They say they're overburdened with paperwork, and they're calling for more time to prepare.
One of the main problems is that when you step in the door to court that morning, you have no idea what it is that's going to be proceeding that day.
The union representing Crown attorneys is asking the province to make rule changes so that prosecutors are given 24 hours notice before contestant bail hearings go before a judge. Crown attorney Ben Wickstrom says he and his colleagues spend a lot of time reviewing cases that never actually make it before a judge, or they're handed cases after bail court has already started for the day. The union is also asking for more help managing the workload by assigning more Crown attorneys to bail court.
This is about better plans being brought forward that will actually do what is intended and keep the accused out of trouble.
For their part, the Criminal Defense Lawyers Association of Manitoba says any changes to bail court procedures are unnecessary and undesirable. They say under existing legislation, bail hearings for accused people must happen at the earliest opportunity. U.S. President Donald Trump is telling pregnant women not to use Tylenol, citing unproven links to autism.
They may tell you that toward the end of the pregnancy, you shouldn't take it during the entire, and you shouldn't give the child the Tylenol every time he's born. he goes and has a shot.
President Trump made the announcement alongside Health Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. during a White House press conference. Autism experts say the claims made by the president are not backed by science.
I would say we have strong evidence that acetaminophen is not causing autism. It's certainly not the cause of autism.
The U.S. FDA has also toned down President Trump's advice in its guidance to doctors. It says doctors should consider limiting the use of Tylenol. In a statement, Health Canada says acetaminophen is safe and effective for relieving pain and reducing fever when used as recommended. Some bold new changes are on the way for the CFL, set to take place over the next 2 seasons. CTV's Rahim Lathani breaks down the new rules and the fan reaction.
And now looks to throw over the top, in the air, on the money. Canadian football has always defined itself by bigger fields, deeper end zones, and unique rules. But starting next season, the league is tweaking that formula and will look a lot more like the NFL.
Absolutely no percentage of these changes were made because of any type of comparison to the NFL.
While the commissioner insists he loves the Canadian game, 2 of the biggest changes that will come in 2027 align with American football. The goalposts, which currently sit at the front of the end zone, will be pushed back, and the field will be shortened down to 100 yards. The end zones are also shrinking, but will remain 5 yards deeper than the NFL.
The goal is to have the best game possible, right? And I believe we have that right now. And I believe we also are improving on that. So regardless of what it might look like, you know, to others is part and parcel, right, to you know, how people take it.
Other changes that are meant to encourage offense will start next season. There will be a new 35-second play clock, benches on opposite sides, and a modified rouge that eliminates points for missed field goals sailing wide. Kick is up. It's clear of the hands. Oh! Missed it, but it's out the back. We're going to OT. Online, many CFL fans are expressing outrage, from describing the changes as garbage to saying it destroys what makes the league Canadian. And some say they're done watching.
It's kind of dumb that they're trying to be like everyone else, and instead of sticking to the CFL, they're trying to act like the NFL, see if they can get more money. But I think it's kind of bullcrap in my opinion.
However, others see this as a step forward.
There's going to be CFL people that are diehards. Nope, they're trying to make it an American game. They're not. They're trying to make the game actually better.
A toss-up between modernizing for the future or fumbling away tradition. Rahim Ladani, CTV News, Toronto.
Let's take a look at the current traffic situation now on Portage at Polo Park. It looks like a smooth drive here so far. If you have any traffic tips or updates to share, text them to us at 10400. And here's a look at your gas prices. The Canadian average is $1.36. The provincial average is at $1.30. In Winnipeg, the average is $1.29. And the lowest price in the city is $1.22. All this info is on gasbuddy.com.
The Price at the Pump is brought to you by the Kidney Foundation. Help by donating your car today.
For our question of the day, we wanted to know, what do you think of the new CFL rule changes? Susan says she's not sure yet. We'll see how it goes. Marlene says the CFL is doing this like America for more touchdowns, easier scoring. Chris says, I don't like the new rules, but the worst part of this, it's going to cost every school and minor football club millions to make the changes to their fields. Leave the game alone. Cheryl also doesn't like the new rules, adding they shouldn't fix what isn't broken. They should leave it the way it is. And Dawn is completely unimpressed. Thank you so much for your responses. Let's go now to Ainsley McPhail, who's talking about the Royal Winnipeg Ballet and Hansel and Gretel. Good morning.
Yeah, Rochelle, from football to ballet, what a pivot. You're going to want to hear this, though, because they've got a production coming up. Liam Saito joins us now to tell us all about his role. Hansel, thank you for being here.
Of course, yeah, thank you for having me.
Well, tell us about this role and what really speaks to you when it comes to the production.
Well, I'll be playing the role of Hansel, and he's a sweet young boy who's very dreamy and really needs his sister. So it's been a fun role to explore. As far as the production, it's got an awesome cast of really fun and interesting characters, and amazing music, really quirky costumes and set design. I think it's an amazing sensory experience for the audience.
We chatted with your new artistic director earlier on in the show when he talked about coming to Winnipeg and noticing how the talent is very theatrical in their performance. From hearing that from your standpoint, what does that mean to you?
Well, I think, yeah, our company is stacked with excellent storytellers, and this ballet is sort of the perfect opportunity to showcase that. Like I said, with so many different characters, you know, aside from just Hansel and Gretel, for the dancers to explore and for the audience to really be drawn into this world.
Have you tried the sweet treats yet?
I have, yes.
Okay.
And they're all excellent.
I was going to say, which one's your favorite?
I couldn't decide. They're all so good.
That's awesome. Why should, before we're out of time, it's happening on October 9th to 12th. Why should folks come out?
You know, it's a classic story that everyone knows, but retold in a really interesting way that I don't think anyone has seen before, and I highly recommend that people come and see this. It's really going to be worth your time.
Thank you so much, and I highly recommend that you guys go to one of the 5 bakeries. Head to a link on our website for more details and how you also could win yourself some tickets.
Okay, thank you, Ainsley. Let's go out to the rooftop now where our Terry is. How's the fog? Is it still there?
Still very much hanging around over the downtown area, outlying areas, likely even more dense as far as how much fog we're dealing with. But I don't think it's going to last through the day. It's only a morning event, and then eventually the sun will come out, burn off the fog, and grace us with its presence and the warmth that you wouldn't expect for this time of year. We're already above seasonal with where these temperatures are sitting in the mid-teens right now compared to a normal low of 4. But yes, there is a bit of a dampness to the air right now with that humidity sitting up there at 100%. Now, the breeze is light. It'll stay that way. A northwest wind expected today. Light winds overnight, and then winds shifting for tomorrow. We might again this coming night deal with more of this fog developing, but it should be, like I said, clearing day side, and that'll be the case all over again tomorrow. Headed to a hot high of 26 degrees. That's where we got to yesterday afternoon, and we'll likely do it again today here in Winnipeg and much of the southeast. Southwest, all of southern Manitoba will probably be up into those almost mid-20s, whereas low 20s will still be felt across much of northern Manitoba today, well above what you would expect for this time of year. Northern Manitoba tomorrow, though, might not be soaking up the sunshine, instead getting soaked with some precipitation likely to move in across northern Manitoba. But here in the south, we've got another sunny one again tomorrow. We just have to be patient for this fog to burn off. Taking a break right now, but we'll be back with Your Morning Winnipeg.
Weather is brought to you by Blinds Are Beautiful. Our new Hunter Douglas showroom is at 900 Lorimer.
Have a news tip? When you see news happening, let CTV News Winnipeg know. Text your tips, pictures, and videos to 10400. That's 10400. Message and data rates may apply.
We have some developing news now. 2 Winnipeg City Councillors will withdraw their motion to rename a Winnipeg park. Brian Mays and Matt Allard had proposed renaming Caudière Avenue Park after James Peebles, a Nobel Prize-winning astrophysicist born in Manitoba. Instead, they now plan to make a new outdoor classroom in St. George Park for Peebles. The move was panned by Andrew Caudière, the great-grandson of the man the park is currently named after. A Winnipeg video game organization is gearing up to fight for a $1 million prize. The team is heading to the States to play in the Call of Duty Warzone World Series. CTV's Harrison Shin talked with the team's captain.
No, we actually couldn't believe it. I had just woken up, I checked my phone, I saw the notification, and I thought I was dreaming.
But it was real, and Marquez's team, Lotus 8, is heading to the World Series of Call of Duty Warzone next week. He's the team captain, and if you don't know what the game is...
So Warzone is a first-person shooter battle royale. So 150 players drop into a map. A zone closes in every 4 or 5 minutes until there's only one team standing.
It could be worth $1 million if they win the competition being held in Las Vegas, Nevada this year.
We want to win, of course. We're feeling great. We've been playing some scrims with the qualified teams, and we've been doing well in those.
Video gaming at this level is also known as esports, and competitions are growing internationally. Melanie Penner is CEO of the Manitoba Esports Association. She says organizations like Lotus 8 show how it should be done.
It's a very loving and welcoming community, and I think that the fact that you have someone from the province representing it, I think is really amazing.
But it's not been without speed bumps for Marquez. He says he was initially dropped from another rosters, but his current teammates picked him up, and together they are going for the win.
Whatever your dream is, chase your dreams. Nothing's impossible. Whether you think it's out of reach, it's not. If you put in the time, the hard work, and the dedication, it will pay off.
Harrison Shin, CTV News, Winnipeg.
Enemy Rhino sighted. If you have old art tucked away somewhere in your home, or you're looking to spruce up your space with some new pieces, Art from the Attic is back this year at St. Vital Mall. It'll feature thousands of donated and gently used art pieces that are sold to raise funds for children orphaned by AIDS in Africa. There are a few new features to Art from the Attic this year as well. Joining us now to tell us more are Jean Altemeyer and Donnie Fridfinson. Good morning to both of you.
Good morning.
I always love our annual visit, ladies. Thank you so much for being with us. You brought some beautiful pieces. Art from the Attic is back, and it's bigger than it's ever been. Tell us a little bit about what's going on right now.
Well, to date, we have over 4,000 pieces donated for this sale, and we're also added a new component this year. We're having an in-person pre-sale auction on this Friday at St. Vital Centre with just a very limited number of pieces of those 41,000 pieces.
Wow.
None of these.
None of these.
4,100.
4,100. Okay, so let's just talk about what Art from the Attic is again, if somebody has never heard of this before.
Well, it's a way for Canadian grandmothers to support African grandmothers. And it's such a Winnipeg thing because it gives people a chance to donate and a chance to find incredible bargains. And so it's win-win-win.
And this year, more than ever before, it's so important to support those grandmothers in Africa because of what has happened in the U.S. and some of the funding cuts, the spending cuts for U.S. aid, right?
Yes, absolutely. And we know we can't make up millions, but at least we can make up thousands.
You could do your part in the best way that you can. Okay, so you brought some incredible pieces here. Tell us about some of these pieces. I don't know if you want to pick one and sort of chat a little bit about some of these pieces.
Well, what we try to do is pick the representation of the diversity of the pieces donated. Also, so I think these pieces just kind of jumped out and spoke to Jean and I as we went through the went through and looked.
So right now we're looking at this Pepsi Cola piece of art. Tell us a little bit about this.
It's an original. The artist is, you can look him up online. I'm pretty sure we've underpriced it, but
$15?
Yeah.
I would say so.
So, but that's the kind of amazing deals and treasures you're going to find at Art from the Attic.
I want to talk about this piece because this is my favorite so far on the table. Tell us a little bit about this piece.
We have wonderful stuff like that. I don't know that there's a particular story. One of the reasons I picked it is sometimes people come to shop for frames. And this shows you the kind of frame and matting you could get for $15.
$15. Wow. Okay, so we're almost out of time already. Friday is what's happening Friday?
Friday is the pre-sale auction. It's at St. Vital Centre. Viewing starts at 6:30. The auction starts at about 7:15. Again, it's a representation of the diversity of pieces we get donated. Half of them are $25 to $150. The other half represents the higher value pieces that get donated. They can see the catalog at grandsandmore.com.
Okay. And then, of course, the main event is happening later in October. And if you want more details on that, we have a link on our website, Art from the Attic. Thanks, ladies.
Oh, thank you.
It was so nice to see you.
Yeah, and some great art to see. You got to get up close to it. Outside today, visibility is poor, and it's all due to that heavy fog. 15 degrees, north-northwest winds are on the lighter side and will stay that way. With the pressure rising, the humidity is up there at 100%. Behind the fog, there will be some sunshine. There's not much in the way of clouds. The satellite image shows us not the fog, but just how clear it is otherwise. And you can expect that it's going to be a warm one once that sun is able to come out from behind the fog in the places that it will. Low 20s all across northern Manitoba. These values well above seasonal. 12 to 13, maybe 14 degrees. Those would be normal daytime highs across northern Manitoba. Here in the south, 16 degrees would be a seasonal high. And again, headed up into the mid-20s. We did get to 26 degrees yesterday, and we'll likely do it again here in Winnipeg. But it will take some time. First, the fog has to burn off, and the sun has to at least make an appearance. It hasn't yet, but it will. And then once it does, plenty of warmth expected, not just for today, throughout the rest of this week. We've got mid-20s for today and tomorrow, dipping only slightly on Thursday, back up into those mid or low 20s, mid-20s as we're looking through the end of the weekend and into next week. We're taking a break right now, but stick around. We'll be coming back with more Your Morning Winnipeg.
Top arrangements provided by Lacoste Garden Center. Salon services provided by Essentique Spa Salon.
We're going to send you off with some fun video, of course. If you ever want the cold, hard truth, just ask a kid.
Lithium, what's this?
This is you with a big eye and a small eye.
This dad's biggest insecurity was brought out through his son's drawing. Justin has always complained about one eye being bigger than the other, and his preschooler's portrait of him proves it hasn't gone unnoticed.
Kids are ruthless.
Well, maybe those pajamas, too. Well, more than 600 intricately carved watermelons are lighting up the night skies in eastern China. The Watermelon Lantern Festival is a decades-old tradition. People take part in a carving competition.
Oh, my goodness.
Then at night, the lanterns light up the streets. That is incredible. It looks fake. It's so beautiful. Cool. Very nice.
Why aren't we carving watermelons instead of pumpkins?
I don't know.
That's
maybe because
stunning.
they're so delicious. Well, it's the latest fad. While Labubus are normally small enough to cuddle or attached to backpacks, this one is a bit bigger. This is the world's largest Labubu and stands 7 meters tall. It's set up at the Monsters art installation in Hong Kong's airport in celebration of the 10th anniversary of the toy. This collaboration marks the beginning of its world tour. I don't think I have a Labubu at home at all.
No, I don't know what they are.
Have a good day. We'll see you tomorrow. You don't know what they are.